everybody, and welcome to Plus One Shoot the Shit. My name is James, and we haven't done this in a while, so please pardon any technical interruptions and or difficulties. This is the show where, on our channel, we just kind of sit back and decide to talk about a topic and or just shoot the shit for a little bit, and it's just an excuse for me to trap my friends in a virtual room where they have to pay attention to me.
I can't leave.
He can't. It's contractually.
He did tell me I couldn't not show up. I was like,
yeah.
Okay, well, here's Philip, and no, you're staying. But nope, I'm staying.
I was like, you'll notice the door is no longer there.
We control the horizontal. Do not adjust your television set. I've always wanted to do that. One of these days, I'm just going to do that on the Ep.8 radio podcast if they ever give me control.
Oh my god, you could
so
definitely
look forward
do
to
that with your background.
Oh yeah, I could.
Mm-hmm. So we are fresh off of... I am fresh off of PAX Unplugged. I had a great time, so my camera's a little modified right now. You can see that I have my haul over here from what I got, except for the MC.
Look at the stuff I got, you guys.
I had a fun time, and I bought some books. Yeah. But besides that, we also have a brand new UA out, and wouldn't you know, they did the monk again, so...
Yep.
I'm not going to make it a contest anymore, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. But first, let's do some news stuff. The Video Game Awards are tonight. Things are going fun with that, apparently. Also, I know that my good friend Charles has done some digging on an RPG that is of particular interest to all of us. I don't know if you want to talk about that here, maybe as a little bit of preface.
Sure. Aetherite Radio is a podcast, and on it, on Saturday, I'm going to deep dive into the Final Fantasy XIV tabletop because I went full murder board on it, and I know how it works, I think. Probably.
Cool.
Probably. Mostly. It's actually pretty interesting and cool. A teaser. It's not a D20 system. It does have a D20. It's not a D20 system. It doesn't have the normal stats. It's got 14 stats. Like int and mind instead of charisma or any of that.
But if I choose to do Moon Miko, do I get a +1 to strength?
I don't know. I can't see how the races work. And it's like, it was weird. Like, everybody has the same MP. I was like, that is a... Lalafell was a black mage. And that's a warrior. And you're telling me they both have 5 max HP, or 5 max MP, and they get 2 back a turn? Yeah, that's a thing, too. So, like, there's a whole MP system. We'll get into it. Cool. And then we'll probably come back here and get further into it. Because I wasn't going to go insane and translate everything. I'll do that here.
He's lying.
Sounds very cool.
He did go a little bit crazy from what I heard.
Only a little bit.
Let's not delve into that. Let's leave that secrets for you for later.
You need to find joy somewhere, and if that's the place, then hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Michelle. He explained what he did to me, and I thought, well, if the game dev stuff doesn't work for him, he could always just be a PI because that is an insane level of care.
All right.
May have searched through a lot of people's photos of EU FanFest for any pictures of the books at all, because they were translated so I could read them. And they were behind glass, so some people took pictures of them.
Another announcement that I want to make to be a complete shill for something that won't find me any money, but I just want to talk about it. Today, the MCDM RPG backer kit, not Kickstarter, went live. And so everybody who pays attention to Matt Colville, I didn't wear my Colville shirt.
I didn't either.
Oh no.
The stone elemental steps on your head to make sure you're dead.
Uh-huh.
But MCDM's RPG is live, and they've been doing a lot of great stuff on their Hello MCDM channel to make sure to chat and talk about all the different things that they're doing in the background for game design. It's a lot of really... Just watching the YouTube itself is a lot of great how the sausage is made, is how he puts it, in a good way to put it. But then also you can subscribe to Patreon and get the actual play-by-plays. So I would recommend, if you care about Matt Colville stuff at all and you're interested in what I would say is probably something very similar to action RPG at the level of trying to be cool, like the Warhammer old RPG box was trying to be, but probably a more reasonable and modern day experience.
Yeah.
This is what that looks like, and I'm gonna go nuts.
Yeah, well, I have bad news for you there, James, because I do believe that the Ultimate Edition's already sold out.
Yeah. Oh no, believe me, I went to the page and I was like, there are 9,999 Ultimate. They're all gone. All of them. They sold out.
All at a $500 price.
Yeah, $500 price point. They sold out instantly. So I have.
But you know what?
Crazy. Yeah.
Good for that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the stretch goals are cool.
He made his video. I think it's almost 4 years ago to date, maybe 5.
Yes.
For when they started MCDM. Yeah. I look forward to the video they make tomorrow because it's definitely going to be one of those.
Philip told me something really cool about him and his setup that he has. They pay like twice the amount that Wizards of the Coast does for their writers.
Yep. And for their art too, they pay the maximum, and they don't do regional conversions, so they pay you as much as they can.
You make American artists money because
you're right, Michelle.
Pay you less. We're trying to compete, and because of that, everybody comes to their table, and they get some really sick, nasty art. Like it's
the way to do it.
It's really.
And he didn't even know. Yeah, he's saying he didn't even know.
He wasn't even comparing. He just went, this seems like a reasonable amount. By the way, it is.
He thought when WoTC money was going into D&D, back when he worked there, it was 20 cents a word, I want to say is what he said.
Yeah, something like that.
20 cents a word. So he said that was the pinnacle back then, so probably a midline for now. And so that's what he set it at for his indie company. And it turns out that's higher than maybe D&D pays today. So
it is twice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Crazy how gig economy works for writers and artists. I'm so sorry to all of you out there, including my friends.
20 cents a word was at 10 words every $2, right? So he's about at $2 million right now. So that's a lot of words. That's a lot of words.
A lot of art. It's gonna be good. It's gonna look good.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in supporting a group that is trying to make a sustainable mini economy for game design, development, art, and writing, please go support them. I know that I will be buying it. I don't think I'm going to get the sleeved books, but mostly because I don't like sleeves.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the special editions because I have the normal editions of Kingdoms and Warfare with the normal art, and I just want all of them to have the art, not the black with the gold on it.
I like the red line. The red line going through all the books is what I'm here for. And when you give me a specialty cover, it screws that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anybody else have any announcements for their evening and or what they've been doing lately? I know that the channels... I have not been running anything on the channel for a while. Apologies to everyone.
No, the only thing... I'm thinking I found a new game. Well, it's older now, but it's called Cities of Mist. And they have a new one called Otherscape Tokyo, which is a Edge Runners version of their first... It's powered by the Apocalypse system. But they go pretty heavy into mystical abilities. Yep. And so I'm reading into that one, and I'm going to see if I like it enough to maybe... And if you guys like it enough, maybe try and do something like that, similar to our Power Rangers game. But a noir mystery game.
Oh, yeah, that's... I don't know why I thought it would be anything else if it was you.
Yes.
That's just right up your alley.
It is superheroes, but no super technology yet.
So like
and a mystery.
Get the wrist communicators and stuff.
Oh, I hope so.
Nope, you got to find a phone booth.
No.
That's somehow better.
Fair.
I think that's better.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Maybe get people pagers, so like your boss can like page you, and you're like, "Damn it, I got to get out of this fight to go to find a payphone and tell them like I'll be there in 20 minutes."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've been reading that a bunch. I really like it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Philip deciding that one game of D&D isn't enough. He's also going to run a Powered by the Apocalypse game as well.
Yeah.
And I've got an idea of how I'm going to make my own story, not just copy someone's story like I'm currently doing. So I'll be creative on my own, right?
There you go.
Hey, don't worry. I exist to try and derail that story even a little bit by drinking things or, just being weird.
Yes. It will be fun, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that you know what, I'm actually very excited. So I didn't even introduce us. By the way, I'm James.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's Charles to my right, but the screen's left, and then down here is Michelle, and then over this way is Philip. And we play a bunch of D&D together, and we figured we may as well put it on recording so that I have it for posterity. When I miss my friends, I can just watch them playing games with me. It's actually really nice. I have a fun time with it. So
is that when you're not watching us in the room that we're stuck in playing games with you?
We're not playing games right now. We're just talking, Charles. Please get
That's
your
true.
head in the game. Otherwise...
That's true. We're on the second monitor playing a game right now is what you're saying. I see.
So, we've missed a few UAs, but I think we got back to the one that we were the most interested in. UA8 just came out for the 1D&D, D&D 5.5, D&D Next, D&D Special
You're just
Extra.
repeating words. D&D 5.5, next.
Try.
D&D Try, D&D Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Evolution R.
Yeah.
That one threw me for such a loop, and then it was like, it's just a season and the next season. I was like...
Quick aside. So doing the research for this thing tomorrow, Saturday, whatever. I fell into a hole of like the Kyoto research papers about tabletop in Japan.
Ooh.
Don't worry, it's cool. But Slayers. People kept saying that it was a D&D game. It was not.
No, that's Lotus War.
No, it was light novels. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beak.
Now,
Right. But I just kept seeing it. And I was like, no, that's not right.
That said...
Well, the light novels have many aspects from D&D.
You can
exactly,
tell Kanzaka is a D&D motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. But there was a lot of just replays, right, that were just logs of someone's game. Like Record of Lotus War was the first one.
Is the record of the Lotus War
straight up.
campaign.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
Not that I matter because I'm not like an important person at all compared to like Critical Role people, but
Sure, okay.
At some point, one of them or one of their team, when they were making the cartoon, said something like, "This is like the first D&D game that's been made into an animated feature," and I'm like, somebody didn't do their fucking research. Come on.
These are anime voice actors. Wait a minute. Was it one of the actors that?
In their defense, I think it was one of like the production team and not one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine.
They might not be well versed,
That our good man, Lord Sephiroth XX, I forget what his.
You mean Masamune?
Yeah, was it Lord Masamune? XX.
It was Lord Masamune.
Absolutely corrected the shit out of them had he heard that and been like, actually.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, UA.
Yeah, UA. So we got a bunch of just retooled classes. Inside of it, we have, just looking through the UA, we have the Barbarian, we have the Druid, and we have the Monk. I think that's it. We also have some new spells, which is kind of an extension of Druid, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And do we want to just start with Monk? Because
we may as well get it out of the way.
Monk should be talked about, because the last time I had some choice words and Charles had some
There's a lot of words. There was a little bit of drink, and there was a lot of bit of words. Yeah.
My camera was real close, so you could not see much of what I was drinking. So it's fine. That was vinegar, everybody, and that's why.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. Vinegar shots every time you think about Monk before. Actually, I guess this UA.
I might just do that because it's pretty salty, and honestly, I kind of like vinegar. It cleanses. So.
Okay.
The
like
more
apple
you know.
cider or just.
Yeah, apple cider, not just vinegar.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah, none of the hard stuff.
So on these playtests, they always have the handy dandy design notes, which always help out with just being able to parse everything. But the design notes for Monk are like a page and a half and then some. So just some updates. Martial arts sees the return of monk weapons, thank goodness, and martial arts die applies to both unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which is good.
Yes.
It's still retaining, by the way, the D6 to start martial arts die that was from the previous UA. But I think they scaled it a little.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, nobody needs to be swinging D4s unless you can sneak attack. Come on now.
Yeah, no.
What do you do?
Plus, I mean, if you can use any kind of weapon, you would probably grab something that was a D6 to swing with a monk weapon in the beginning until your punches got that high.
It was always
it's like just grab a quarterstaff.
You have your quarterstaff. That's the D8, and then you're gonna go D4,
D4.
That is what it is.
I mean, it does kind of like balance out, I guess, if you're swinging two D4s, because you are always going to get your bonus punch. Not always, but most often will get your bonus punch. So you're essentially dual wielding, 2D4 rather than 1D6. So I could kind of see that balance issue, but
to me, I always thought it was because since everything is an unarmed attack, a knee, a flick, anything, they were just averaging it out to a D4. So that if you were like, I flicked them with my toe, well, that's a D4. That makes sense.
I don't want to just gloss over these, actually. I want to go through
them,
sure. All of them are actually pretty chunky. So at level 1, you get your martial arts, you get your unarmored defense. Your martial arts feature is pretty similar to what it's always been, except there's one big modification. And that is
one simple trick.
Yeah, one simple trick. One removal of one front of a sentence that changes the world. And it is bonus unarmed strike. You can make one unarmed strike as a bonus action. Full stop.
Yeah.
No longer. And this really does speak to design as well, because if you ever listen to Mike Merles, what he said was he was vehemently against bonus actions. He hated the whole concept of them because he wanted it to be action and movement, and that to be your turn, because bonus actions kind of they weigh down the turn, and they do, but it's one of those things where the idea was originally in 5e design, a bonus action on your turn. You have an action and movement. You do not have a bonus action granted to you. That is granted by some precondition. And for most cases, a bonus action attack was granted by having certain conditions met when you made an attack in the first place.
Yeah.
So you had to make your attack action to unlock the ability to bonus action attack with dual wielding or with martial arts.
Which was one of the only ways that you would have I think that's right, with the main martials having a bonus action, right? Because like fighters don't have a bonus action, and barbarians don't have any kind of bonus action for an attack.
Not for. There are some that have, like, frenzy barbarians had the ability to do.
Yeah, it depends.
But there was a whole wind-up process into doing that in the first place. There was a lot of like loadout at the front, do a bonus action in order to set up for later, and fighters have second wind. Fighters have second wind.
I'll grant you that one, but it's an extra attack, but that's one time versus.
That's it. That's all they have.
Yeah.
And it's honestly one of those things where it's like, am I below half? I guess I'll use a second win, because I don't have anything else I can use my bonus action for.
This is why there's so many dual wielders and polearm masters. So get that bonus action.
Yeah, and I mean that's go ahead.
No, all I was gonna say is I can see why people say like it should just be the action and your movement, and then bonus action should just be something that your action triggers for you, rather than people trying to be like, well, I need to be as efficient as possible. I need to find some way to use my bonus action. What can I do? What can I cast? What can I use? And it's like some classes, like if you're a rogue, you're always using your bonus action. If you're a monk, you're always going to use your bonus action. Casters, right? So, as I think
Wizards,
casters can.
you don't have a bonus action. I'm sorry. You can Misty Step, like if you're feeling frisky. That's about it.
Yeah. Or, some people that like their spells, like if you're a cleric, you summon Spirit Weapon,
Yeah.
bonus action every time to just. So it feels very like lopsided that they have to try and like balance those two aspects. And if you just take it out, that's a whole new. That's D&D 6.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's definitely something that is like speaking to the original design philosophy was action, movement, bonus actions are granted for specific cases. The way that everybody plays this game is, well, I better find a way to grant myself a bonus action regardless of what class I am. And so it's basically become a given that you're going to use your bonus action on your turn.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I think this change is basically the designers admitting, yes, that's what we're doing. Bonus actions are just a thing. You get them every turn. And I think it's great because it leaves you able to do so many things as a monk. You also get dexterous attacks.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the same as what it was, except it also has one key modifier. Charles, did you want to?
Oh, sure. I mean, I remember back in 3rd ed being a monk that wanted to trip people to get an attack of opportunity to punch them. That's not what this gives you. Don't get too excited. But this lets you use your dexterity modifier in place of your strength, right? When you're doing your grapple or your push, right? So you can actually use them. Because you're going to be a dexterous monk. Let's not lie. That's not Baldur's Gate. You're not picking Tavern Brawler. It's not going to happen.
Honor mode. They fixed
because
it.
when you defend against a grapple, you can go dex, but you can never provoke a grapple with dex.
Yeah, you can only resist it.
Which always honestly did feel like the biggest oversight in that ability is you can punch with your dexterity and you can avoid with your reflex or your dexterity or your acrobatics. But if you're trying to grapple someone as a monk and you're all noodly and able to do joint locks and stuff, you better have a high strength score because fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really cool, especially because of later things that we will get to.
Yeah. Martial arts die starts at D6. That's pretty much the only change for that. It has a different scaling that's a little bit longer because it doesn't start at D4. Unarmored defense is pretty much the same as it ever was. If you aren't wearing armor, wearing a shield, you have 10 plus your dex plus your wisdom. And then it's Monk's Discipline, which we saw last time. It's basically them just saying that you get the ability to spend your discipline points, not your key points, to do certain actions.
Manja key points.
Yeah.
Manja key points. Can't wait. So hungry. But also, it gives you some new things that everybody's been kind of complaining about forever on Monk.
Yeah.
Patient defense.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was say it's the same 3 names, just with a slight rework that I think is pretty, I guess pretty smart of them.
Yeah.
Of a way to sort of split the two, or give it 2 aspects, I should say, so that you always have it. You can always do this. Like a rogue always gets disengage as a bonus action. Now a monk can too, but if they want to use their discipline points, my apologies, you can spend 1 and it makes it even better.
Yeah.
So you're spending something that, how do I say this? You're paying for something that a rogue would get for free. Always kind of felt bad.
Yeah.
The idea of being a class at level 2 that does something that another class gets at level 2 and doing it just patently worse always felt terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, Monk was a bad rogue plus a bad fighter and a little bit of like, I don't know, ranger-ish, but not a whole lot.
You didn't have many damage mods. Something I was talking about this before. The thing that defines a ranger for me versus, like, say, a paladin or any other martial classes, rangers always get a weird bonus damage die in some weird things. So, like, for example, Michelle with your Fey Wanderer, you get a bonus damage die on your attacks. It's like, what, a D4 psychic on multi attack or something. And then
Hunter's Mark.
In general.
Yeah. So
it just happened.
That's what the Ranger's juice is rolling multiple dice on an attack.
And not missing.
And
and being very accurate.
Accuracy.
Yeah.
And then trading that accuracy in for a -3 to kill someone. Typically.
Yeah.
But so we have patient defense, and the other thing is, now when you spend a discipline point, it does both things, which is nice. Because spending a discipline point to dodge for a bonus action, it's kind of like healing in D&D. It didn't make much sense.
We'll talk about healing too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there is some healing modifications. So Step of the Wind, you can now dash as a bonus action for free. And if you spend a point, that's it. You just get that now. So you basically, you have, as a monk, you have worse cunning action. You can't hide, and you can't do whatever modifiers the thief or the assassin or whatever get at level 3. But you can also spend 1 discipline point to disengage and dash. So basically spending, you get disengage, and then you can spend a discipline point to get dodge as well. Or you can dash and spend a key point, or I'm going to do that. Spend a discipline point to get disengage as well. And your jump distance.
There's a lot of D's here.
Dungeons and Dragons. They have a thing.
Yeah,
it's a shtick.
They're leaning into it.
And then with all of that, your jump distance is also doubled, just like it used to be, I think. So.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was one of. See, you don't remember it because nobody used Step of the Wind.
Yeah, why would you use it? Yeah.
Did you want to dash? If I wanted to dash, I'll take 2 in Rogue. Fuck you.
Get 2 levels just to dash.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, you would as a monk. There's a lot of monk rogue builds that will no longer need to be monk rogue, which is very nice because monk should have its own identity that's able to be a single class up to 20. Uncanny Metabolism is a new effect. It's taken from level 7 down to level 2 and made way better than it was. I think the last one was, and this is really the juice. This is their patch that they think will last. It's the juice. The juice is loose. I don't know.
It is.
It is if you start initiative and you don't have to have 0 key or 0 discipline points to do this, which fucking shocking, I know. You can just regain all discipline points.
Yep.
And that's once per long rest, but that's good.
Yeah. That is a lot of staying power for the monk that didn't have any. Funnily enough, the one that's all about, meditation and being mentally hardy ran out of their points like immediately. It's like, nope, I can't do things. I'm tired now. What?
I noticed this, and my first thought was similar to the wizard, where they can, once per short rest, they get back X number of spell slots.
Yeah.
But I was curious what your opinion might be on why they changed it to initiative and not on a short rest. Because they could do, like, on a short rest, you can regain all. Can't use it when you finish a long rest.
So I'll tell you why. Because that's already a thing. You already got that as a monk. Whenever you take a short rest, you regain all ki, or all discipline now.
Oh, do you? Okay.
That's always been how it worked.
I guess I missed that.
It's just low-level monk always felt kind of like garbage. Because if you have 2 fights in a row, your second fight, you're going to have no discipline points to speak of. Yeah. Because in the previous fight, you flurried once, and maybe you dashed.
Yep. How dare you?
I hope you're ready for bonus action punch.
So then, okay, so I didn't realize that the defense that your monk's discipline comes back on a short rest for max.
Yeah.
Then what is the point of this? Like, are there are there a lot of times where other classes can just skip the short rest aspect of it?
So the problem is the dichotomy between short rest classes and long rest classes. An interesting concept in the beginning of 5e that did not will out based on the way people played. A lot of people can blame Critical Role for the absolute success that has happened for 5e, but on the same note, you can also kind of damn them for converting everyone to a play style where you have one encounter a day.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
yeah.
a one encounter a day play style, short rest classes like Warlocks and Monks get shit canned because they run out of resources and expect to have a time to recharge that in the middle of the day and keep going. But if you just have one giant knockdown, drag out fight, and that's it for your day, they're always going to come off weaker than the long rest classes.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And that I'm not being exactly fair to Critical Role. Critical Role has a lot of... Matt Mercer does a lot of things where like they're in a dungeon and they actually have to care about their resources and their rest and everything like that. It's just having set piece fights where it is you have a single combat is kind of like a streaming thing because you have only so much that you can convert into doing a set. You only have so much that you can do like the live shows for Acquisitions Incorporated or any other number of like live play streams where they're at a table. It's difficult to make multiple sets, especially if you don't know the players are going to play them. And so it comes down to having set piece fights. And set piece fights are great, and it's a fun way to play. It's just not conducive to the short rest classes.
Yeah, I agree to that. I agree with that.
Like you running the dungeon and having having Monty play as a monk in that. How often does Monty have like key points right now to be able to actually do things?
A lot, because he forgets to use them.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Call directly out. Sorry, my friend.
Or he'll in one turn he'll go all out and burn all of them on stunning strikes.
Exactly.
You know, and then to make sure he gets it done.
Which is exactly what Monk is built like these days, currently in the current version of it, is you burn everything for stunning strike, because if you can take out, because the whole point of Monk in a class design, and Charles, I mean, from a build standpoint, please let me know if you feel the same about this, or anybody let me know, is monks were the strikers that could get anywhere on the combat. If you had one character that you need to shut down, you send the paladin or the monk, and they go shut that one person down.
Yeah. They are the lockdown. You know, they were for the high value target, and they could afford to dodge on their way there, basically.
Agile striker. The paladin gets it because most versions of paladin get Misty Step, and then they can just smite you into the ground. The monk gets it because at level 5, the monk can run up to you, hit you 4 times, and make you make 4 con saves. Now, that's level 5 monk, so that is all of their key points.
Yep.
But they can do it.
Yep.
The trick is, if you don't then take a short rest, the monk doesn't have key points later, and a monk without key points is not even a class in the current iteration of D&D. You don't have any abilities really that work without having some resource key points in reserve. So you can't Flurry of Blows, you can't Step of the Wind, you can jump off things and land, cool.
That's true.
That's fun. Slow fall is pretty sick.
Ooh, superhero landing.
Exactly.
You can catch missiles. Can't throw them back though. You need a point for that.
Yep.
So, like that's the thing that's always been the problem with monks, is that they always had this, at low levels especially, this limited resource pool that let them do their cool shit, and then once it was done, they couldn't do any cool shit. So the uncanny metabolism seems, honestly, and it's one of those things where I was really worried, because when the original version came out at level 7 for the last playtest, and it was kind of like a little tiny patch, like, did it restore? It basically, it gave you a whole short rest.
Yeah.
At the cost of a minute's rest. Which, my argument for that was, if you're going to rest for a minute, you may as well rest for an hour. Time isn't real in
Seriously.
D&D. If everybody's willing to sit there and watch you ohm for a second, they're probably just chill with letting the warlock get his spell slots back too.
Yeah, it's only very thematic like story. Like, we only have 10 minutes until the world ends. We ain't got time to take a short rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have this 1 minute right now.
It's just
We can
so
keep
low.
moving and keep going.
But what if we have 1 minute, the monk says, and you're like, no, that's stupid. We only have 10. You want to waste 1 minute just sitting there. Come on. But now, the monk rolls up to the fight with 0 key points, goes, yeah, and now they're full. They can do that once every long rest. That's really good. And I was kind of worried it'd be broken, but when you look at it for scaling, no, it's not. Because what, you get 2 key points back at level 2? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Hooray.
Flurry twice. You did good, bud.
Yeah.
Unarmored movement is exactly the same as it was. Is this a switch back, by the way? Because I remember that a lot of people were conjecturing with the previous playtest monk that an armored monk is actually better off.
Well, because it's all based on your stats, right?
Yeah.
If you were able to roll high versus, stat buy or whatever.
Well, and the other problem with monks that they've had is that they're a D8 hit die class, but they're also supposed to be a martial.
Yeah, they got to get up in there.
Every other martial is a D10 plus, and the monks are a 3 stat martial, so they need to have dex. They want to have wisdom, and they need to have con. So one of those is going to take a hit, and if it's con, then they're not going to...
They won't be able to take a hit.
Yep.
But that's okay now because we have a brand new level 3 feature.
Yeah. I've been waiting for this for so long. It's been 86 years.
I can still hear you, but I will be right back. Please go off, King.
Sure. Okay, sure. Then I'll just go through deflect attack. So they used to have deflect... What was it? The missile, I think it was called. Now it's just attack. So if it's melee or ranged, doesn't matter as long as it's bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, which is just like a barbarian's rage, actually, now that I think about it. When you do so, you can use your reaction to deflect it. You roll that same die, which was a D10 plus your dex plus your monk level. If you reduce it to 0, now this is where you used to be able to take no damage and you can throw it back at them. But now with melee attacks, you can even just hit them back. And I believe it's 2 rolls of your martial arts die plus your dex in damage. Yeah. And the damage is the same type dealt by the attack. So when you put all that together, I want someone to swing at me at the very least, right? At least once a turn. Go ahead, do it. As long as I have discipline points, let's go. Because that's a hit and your free bonus action, 1 extra attack. And it just auto hits. Well, no, it's a dexterity saving throw. That's right.
Yeah, it's a saving throw.
Yeah.
But
it's a saving throw, but yeah.
It's basically better than an opportunity attack.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's really no reason to use your opportunity attack unless you're saving discipline points at this point.
And even if you were, the thing is, the discipline point is only for the redirect. So the reaction is still there, just like it was before.
It's true.
You could always catch the arrow. Throwing it back costs money. That's where you got to the premium play experience. You had to pay for the subscription.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We talked about them having to be up front, up close and personal, and they could always dodge, but now they've got a little bit more defense every single turn. Every turn.
Is that a higher
reduce at least 1.
60 feet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Fair enough.
But yeah,
I could check, but I don't think so.
Gives them a bonus, not bonus, but a survivability. That's what I was looking for.
It is better. The original
is it? How close was it before?
Normal range of 20 and a long of 60.
Wow.
This is
nobody.
just 60.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody use that rule.
Yeah. Most people don't use anything past 20 feet. You have to get advantage on.
Seeing someone
so that's why I didn't even remember.
Throw it back is also one of those things where it's like, how much does that happen?
with Monty, as much as possible. He'll be like, yes, please. Shoot me.
I'm right here. Shoot me.
Shoot me.
All right, so basically just a supreme level up to deflect attacks, which, I mean, I was complaining about the deflect energy before. It's like, why would you limit it in such a goofy way?
Yeah.
So it's nice to see this.
Mm.
And then we have the monk subclass, and it's important to look in and see what they talk about for the ones that they're using. The ones that they're using is the Warrior of Mercy, which is the Way of Mercy. I don't think.
Yeah, I really hate this Warrior of Blame.
Well,
I don't know why. I don't like Warrior. I don't know, especially Warrior of the Hand. I don't know. I know that we're getting away from Eastern inspired things. That's why we don't have key.
yeah.
But the Way of, I don't know. I like it better than Warrior of. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why.
Probably because it was designed to be Way of the Hand, Way of Mercy,
Sure.
Way of Shadow. So having it now be Warrior of is just kind of like, so, you know, WoTC, maybe think about doing a rename or something.
To me, and it's only because of,
Warrior of Light.
yeah, I mean Warrior of Light. But there's a very dumb, and I'm hoping that she doesn't react to this, a very dumb song from the original Mortal Kombat that called Sub-Zero a Chinese ninja warrior. And I cannot hear warrior without hearing that intonation. And that's still Eastern to me. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. It's my own thing. I'll have to get over it.
Which playtest was it for the original Monk playtest? 5?
5, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Skipped a couple.
that I just went fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I want to check something here because I'm interested to see.
Well, yeah, you go ahead. We can just go through Slowfall.
Out of curiosity, so when they list these are the subclasses, are they saying that like you can take Warrior of Shadow, Way of Shadow from the other one and just use it with this playtest? Is that why they say it, or they like that's what they're going to make when this quote unquote is finished?
So that's what I'm checking on right now. So the thing is that the Way of or the Warrior of Shadow. Oh no, it wasn't 5. It was 6.
Oh,
because it doesn't exist, right? There is no Warrior of Shadow yet.
There is a Warrior. Yeah, no. There was.
So they redid it.
They did do a redo of Elements, Hand, and Shadow.
Yes, there's one that's going to be straight out of Tasha's, though, for I think every class or most classes, and that's Mercy for Monk.
But they didn't call it that, right? So I was checking. No, they didn't make a Warrior of Mercy. So they're saying you can use the Way of Mercy, but they're recapitulating that they're going to rename it. So the Warrior of Mercy is a fucking weird monk to be allowing in the playtest because it is definitely the Smite monk. And they're definitely already giving us a new Smite on monks that we're going to get to here in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, Warrior of Shadow is actually pretty interesting. They basically made it so that the darkness is super cool for them and took away all the other spells they could cast.
Yeah.
And then just turned up the shadow element of it to 11. So, it's pretty good. But no, so the playtest ones that they're considering for this are the Way of Mercy, and then all 3 warriors that you got, or 2 of the 3 warriors you got last time, because they've completely redone a lot of stuff in Hand as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had seen that earlier, and I was slightly confused because I did not remember the previous iteration of changes, like which ones they had. Which one? The paths that they talked about.
Yeah. Slowfall.
Just the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as it ever was. Extra attack, still boring. WoTC, make it so extra attacks are fun per class, please. It's the most boring level in all of Martial, and I hate it.
Sure.
You get roll dice twice now. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
I mean, this is
it's a power
3rd level spells for spellcasters. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that
this is Fireball.
Weak. It's not that it's weak. It's just that it's
it's
boring.
just not the matter. Yeah.
As a person who is, I'm going to say new to D&D in comparison to like James, for example.
Yeah.
Hard disagree. I love the level where you get another punch, another dice roll. I love that level.
I mean,
I definitely.
I think I just wanted to have more now because we're going into a newer version of 5e, and I want to see all the marshals who get extra attack have something also that they get on top of it for being whatever they are.
Right. You want what we're gonna see. You want what we see for the barbarian. You want the cunning action instead of the extra attack. Basically, you want the, hey, you can attack twice, or maybe you want to give up that second attack to get a thing. That would be cool.
I want the rogue shit.
Fair enough.
I want rogue shit, but with their sneak attack.
Sure.
But I want it for marshals. So I want so that I can be a level 10 marshal who's 5 in one and 5 in another, and it doesn't feel like shit.
Sure, it is. It's something that you cannot miss. Yeah.
Yeah, because currently it's like if you want to be 2 different martial classes, one of them better stop at level 4 because otherwise you get a dead level.
Mm-hmm.
Because extra attack is the same.
You can't get a third.
Every martial class.
Yeah. Yeah, you can never get a third one. Yeah.
Chinese Ninja Warrior.
Yep, it's just stuck in my head too.
Your heart's so cold. Sub-Zero.
Yep. See, and that's why I don't like Warrior of Blind. I don't want.
Me innocently making tea. You attacking my ears from far away.
So, but and here's the thing: the monk actually does get something at level 5. They get Stunning Strike.
It's true.
So they're the one martial class that does get something cool at level 5. So
perhaps the coolest thing that they got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
It's still pretty cool, but differently now.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be agape because there's a Monster Hunter game being announced. So you go ahead.
Oh yeah. So
See, I like this as a DM looking at it. I like this change because, and I mean as a player too, because if I was a monk at level 5 and we were fighting something strong, and it was known that on my turn, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use all of my turns and use all of my ki to do all of these chances at a Stunning Strike. And maybe it only takes 2 or 3. But, and if it's like a legendary creature or a boss creature, maybe we're giving them like guaranteed resistances type stuff.
Yeah.
It's a wasted turn. It's a wasted turn. I've burned all of my ki and I have nothing to do. I can't do any more Flurry of Blows. I can't do any Step of the Winds. Can't do anything for the rest of this combat because, hey, I stunned him for 1 round. And it's like,
no, please continue.
So like that aspect of it, like knowing as a monk that it's like they expect me to do that and to just burn myself out for the rest of this encounter to try and do this one thing. I mean, I guess if you're lucky enough and it happens on the second strike, you can keep your other 3 and then do it again on the next turn.
Yeah.
But so maybe now it's got twice. Okay, cool. But at least this way, like you can do other things.
I agree with you on that. And this is Stunning Strike, right? So the first 3 words, I think this was in the last playtest as well. The once per turn. Yeah, people were so mad. They're still so mad. Look, it's okay. Now you don't have to worry about that. You're going to try it once. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, do the rest of your stuff. And just to read through it, just what changed, just to talk about it in case people weren't paying attention to it. You hit them. When you hit, you have a choice to spend a discipline point. If you do, then it's a Stunning Strike. They must make a Constitution saving throw. If they succeed, they take damage anyway. A roll of your martial arts die, so you do some damage, plus your wisdom modifier. And if they fail, they're stunned until the start of your next turn. So it's great. It's good. I know you can't try 5 times anymore, like we were just talking about, but honestly, that was kind of the tyranny of monk. You better, like you said, Philip, do what the party needs of you, right? You better go stun that guy. You better go do it. Right? That's what they're counting on you for.
And as the DM, you have to plan for that. Like others a monk, okay, I need to give them who will stun me at least once. Be ready.
This person's going to hit me 4 times, and I'm going to be made to roll 4d20. One of those is almost guaranteed to be sub 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I do agree. Like, the Stunning Strike was always such a goofy thing. It was bad what they did to it last time, because all they did was make it worse. And Stunning Strike was like the flagship of Monk. It was the one thing that monks had is, it doesn't matter what they are. If they're not immune to the stunned condition, I can stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Even a Tarask can roll a 1.
Even a god can bleed.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just such volatile gameplay, because on the one hand, it made the DM go nuts if they had a monk that actually just did their stuff for lockdown. Because if you ever had a single boss, that boss was going to die in round 1, and that was on you for setting a single boss that was able to be stunned in front of your monk when they obviously had key points. What were you thinking?
They're rubbing their hands together. They're licking their chops.
Popping
They're
out
ready.
behind the tree. They're like, yeah, I see that. But this, I do only have like one problem with this, because the new thing to it is interesting, because on a failed save, they're stunned. On a successful one, they take force damage equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier, which means that you're getting your wisdom modifier, your dex modifier, your attack die, and also this force die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2d6.
Because you hit first,
Because you already hit, Yeah,
because you already hit. So you're basically getting, it's kind of like the Psionic Strike, but it's
Psionic
2
Strike
mods. So if you're high in wisdom and high in dexterity, you're going to hit really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's force damage, so it's the good one.
Yeah.
The thing that ekes me out about it is it's really goofy that it only does that on a fail or a success.
Yeah.
It's like, so are you telling me that when I hit them and they succeed to not be stopped, what's the damage extra that I'm dealing them there that I wouldn't also be dealing them by stunning them?
Yeah, true.
And that's just my brain trying to wrap around it, like, thematically. I do understand the idea of getting a gimme for a failure. Like, that makes sense, because you spend a resource, you deserve something.
Yeah, I thought that I was kind of confused about that, but that makes sense. Everyone hates it when you spend the thing and nothing happens.
And nothing. Just
even
like right now, like, you can still have the enemy succeed on all 4 Constitution saves, and then you've basically done you've basically cast all your spell slots, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Which feels bad as a caster too. But it's just goofy, because the way that it was originally, it created a style of play that was not intended for the way the kit is built. I don't know why they didn't expect people to just dump all their key into Stunning Strikes, but
no idea. I don't understand it, but that's exactly what they thought was going to happen. I don't know, or exactly what they didn't think was going to happen. I mean, it's like the whole 3 encounters in an adventuring day. Yeah, okay.
7. They expected 7.
7, that's right. 7, that's right. It's 3 before the short rest.
That's right.
And 4 after. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was never going to happen that way.
I mean, it happened in their internal playtest. It happens in dungeons. It's just...
Sure.
And if you tell people, like, hey, we've built this to be 3 and then a short rest, 4, you take a long rest. Like, if they're like, oh, that's how they built this? Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Playtest it that way. And it wasn't until someone else was like, oh, yeah, I played 3. I'm going to do this one like I did 3, because I don't need to read the book. I know what I'm doing.
No.
They're not rereading the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil the Game Awards, but you know what won.
For which... Oh, total?
For, Game of the Year. You know what won.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that can win.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that can win. He's wearing the armor, by the way. Up on stage, yeah. He had it flown over. Yeah. Not kidding.
Nice.
Wow.
Man, Jeff Keighley, you're a crazy motherfucker. You and your kicks. That, glad to hear that. Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, poignant to be talking about D&D right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It's fine.
I
It's
mean,
appropriate. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense, especially because the way that Flurry of Blows works now. I think we kind of skipped it. Flurry of Blows does the same thing that the extra attack does now. You don't have to make your attack action to use Flurry of Blows. So
you can just do it as a bonus action.
Yeah. Which unlocks so much. It makes your bonus action better for punching now than all the other things you can use your bonus action for.
Yeah.
Which is great, but also kind of bad. We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Your empowered strikes is basically the same. You can, except rather than being magical, you can deal force damage. This was in the last UA, and this is innocuous. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, it was nice for it to be magical, but it seems like they're not even doing that anymore. I have not seen
I don't
an
think
instance of magical damage.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's a holdover from back to 3, where +1 weapons got through magical resistance, and things had magical resistance. They don't really have it anymore.
Right.
That's not a thing you see.
Right. Level 7, we can basically skip. Evasion is the same as it ever was.
Always.
Same as it ever was.
Yep.
Same as it ever was.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was introduced.
Yep. Level 9 also seems like it's the same. It's just acrobatic movement, which is you gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and cross liquids on your turn without falling during the movement. A lot of people shit on this. This is a very cool feature, especially if you have a battle map.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Theater of the mind is less useful, but still.
Yeah. It's
Although
cool.
to me, it seems like it's interesting to terrain moving and I can get us across this instead of just jumping. Maybe you can run across the wall that connects them or something. But
But Philip, if you wanted
combat-wise,
to get everybody else across, you'd also have to be carrying them. Hey, let's look at heightened discipline.
Ooh, what's that do?
Well, let's start with Step of the Wind.
Oh, yes.
When you spend a discipline point to use Step of the Wind, you can choose a willing creature within 5 feet of you that is large or smaller. You move that creature with you until the end of your turn. The creature's movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. I feel like this is an overcorrect, Wizards. We were upset about the dancer bard being able to dance their friends along, but this is a bit nutty. It's
crazy.
I can now ride my horse, its speed, then pick up my horse and dash. What? What do you mean?
Yeah. In case you need to. That's fine. And the thing that I love about this,
cartoon.
is that, like you said, you can take your friend with you up that wall.
Yeah.
Across the water. Because,
it's that scene in Jujutsu Kaisen. Is immediately what I saw in my head when I watched this of I can never remember main guy's name. But was her
Kaizen.
Nobara, is that her name? The girl?
It's just like Bleach. The main character's name is Bleach, right?
Yeah.
I think. I missed that one.
That's what it's supposed to be about. So there's a moment where the main character is holding on to the main female squad member, and he just says, "We're going," and then suddenly, as he's carrying her, they just go down the road or through a forest. But this idea that the monk just goes, "Hey, we're leaving now," and just shunts someone through existence with them. Sets them down, dusts them off. You're good to go.
Yep.
It's a fun fantasy. I don't know if it's normal monk setup, but maybe.
I mean, remember monk's not Eastern anymore, but hey, look, you could be like Goku. You take him with you, you fly him with you. You give him the Nimbus.
You just instant transmission someone with you.
For me, the first thing I think of is from the First Class X-Men movies, where Quicksilver just grabs somebody and is like, yoink!
Yeah.
And moves them, make sure he's holding the back of their head so he doesn't break their neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides that, go ahead.
Also, remember, your jump is doubled. Oh, we're going on an adventure because they're coming with you. during your jump too. That you can jump while you're on the surface that's water or a wall. Like when you put all this together, Monk is hilarious.
Can the slow fall affect both?
Yeah, your slow fall. Maybe I would rule that because
maybe. I mean, so here's the thing:
I don't know.
don't fall as a monk until you stop moving anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Right,
I don't know.
That's what I'm like. Could you theoretically run across a river, jump off a waterfall, land on the bottom of the water, and keep running with your new target, with your new buddy in tow? So that's why I'm like, would they take the falling damage? Because like you don't, but they're just being carried, and they have a sudden stop at the bottom.
Remember, they were 5 feet away from you, so they're 5 feet above you when you land, and you just pull them, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
As they pull you screaming.
I don't know how I would rule that.
I don't know either.
It would
I'd say rule it
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think definitely it's just that's one of those things. Patient defense is now when you spend a discipline point to use patient defense, you gain temporary hit points equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die, which could be very underwhelming or very good whelming.
Yeah,
but it's just nice.
Very good whelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming.
The good thing about it is, temporary hit points don't go away until you get hit or you sleep. So you could do that early.
Hey,
listen, keep that in.
At the very least, you got the samurai beat with this.
That's true. That's very true.
Them and their 5 MP or 5 temporary HP, they get to rub together in their fingers.
Ooh.
And then finally, the absolute biggest one for this is Flurry of Blows. Flurry of Blows, now if you spend a discipline point to do that, you make 3 unarmed strikes instead of 2.
Yeah.
That's 5 attacks on a turn at level 10 for a monk.
Yeah.
I have a problem with this.
And I mean, you're still like at level 10. What are you swinging? A D8? Or have you bumped up to the D10 at that point?
At level 10, you are now at I want to say you're at the D8 still. You are.
Yeah. It's the last level of D8. Mm.
But once you hit level 11, when everybody gets 3 attacks, you are now attacking 5 times with a D10 hit die minimum.
Yeah. Ow.
It's so. Hear me out.
I mean, you're using a resource.
Yeah, you are.
You are.
You are. It should be powerful.
It should be powerful, and it's good that it's better. This game does things with the way to properly play, and we've seen that over the last 10 years turn into the Polearm Master, Sentinel Fighter. We've seen that turn into the Hexblade Warlock with just about anything. We've seen all the different hacks and niches and things that people do with this sort of thing, and I'm terrified of this. Because this ability makes what the monk does on their turn. They have all these different cool things they can do up until level 10. And then at level 10, you're making 5 attacks a turn. Why would you do anything else?
The opportunity cost of not using it is very steep.
Ridiculous.
Sure. Yeah.
You're going to use 5 attacks on your turn. One of them is going to be a stunning strike. You can do this 5 times. The combat will be over. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying. This is why the Baldur's Gate Tavern Brawler monk with, however many attacks and having a bonus. It's why it's a little imbalanced. It doesn't matter in Baldur's Gate, single player game. Who cares? In this, it only matters because your DM has to deal with it. The computer dealing with it, that's fine. Let's keep bullying them until AI takes over the world. But your DM doesn't deserve this. Doesn't deserve it.
And the rest of the other players.
Yeah, that too.
So
right, like if you're
my problem isn't so much. Sorry, I don't know what happened with that that unfiltered.
You got overwhelmed. You felt that.
I'm
like
whelming.
Your heart and your soul.
I'm whelming here.
Yeah, you're super whelming.
I don't think it's too strong. That's not the problem I have with it.
Sure.
The problem I have is it becomes immediately the most optimal thing for the monk to do on each of their turns. And if you give me something that is so obviously optimal to do that doing anything else would be ridiculous, suddenly I'm having to justify doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like
Well,
that.
are you saying like you wouldn't want to then use either patient defense or your step of the wind, because you're going to spend a key point when you could be using it for 3 flurry of blows, or to make the 3 flurry of blows attacks instead?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't want to waste the point. You can't afford to waste any of your key points on a turn. You won't get the stunning strike, which
the action
you might
economy
get.
is ridiculous to assume that I would not do that every single turn.
Especially because of on-hit effects. Like, if you are a warrior of the hand, this is nutty, and I love it. Your first one, yeah, whatever. Maybe you don't want to stun, so you topple. It's free, right? We're going to talk about this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It knocks them down. All right. So when they're prone, they don't get that strength saving throw to be pushed anymore. So now you push them up to 15 feet for the rest of the 2 attacks. Because why not? Why wouldn't? That's fine. That's fun,
And
right?
if they're prone and you have melee, it's with advantage.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
So
now you get
Topple
4.
is the first one. Yeah.
And because the bonus action Flurry of Blows is no longer linked to your attack action.
Exactly.
You can lead with it, topple them.
Yep.
4 more attacks at advantage.
Yes.
And hey, if you
Which
crit
is
on one of those,
wild.
Crit on one of those, stunning strike and hope you fail.
Yeah, because you double that die.
Yeah.
Those 2 die. Yeah, so it can be interesting, and yeah, like you're saying, opportunity cost. Why would I do anything else unless I absolutely have to? Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to be using patient defense instead of this.
Yeah, you'd have to be in a bind, really. I can see it happening, but
it could, but it's one of those things where I don't like the idea of having to justify basically giving myself character reasons to not just do the optimal thing every round.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so obviously strong. Like, what I would love to see this Flurry of Blows do is, if you do not make the attack action on your turn, then your Flurry of Blows can be 3 hits. Because then that unlocks the ability for a bunch of different kinds of flavors of monks to do, like, other things with their actions.
Okay.
Sure.
Like a help action or something.
Or, like, other monks had the ability to cast
elemental
spells, but I don't know that Ray of Elements still does that.
I would have to go back to. I don't remember. I probably will in a set, just because these 3 attacks is it's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because that's it's only one more than normal. I get it. However, just comboing it with everything that you can get on hit, magic items if your DM makes them up, because there is still not very many magic items for monk, and that's another issue, but that's okay.
They said they're gonna make them. They promised.
Yeah. Yeah, last time they promised, they went out for cigarettes and never came back, so
Oh, my heart. Oh, no.
Yeah. I don't know how it will interact with the other ones. It's something that I haven't looked at yet.
So, like, for the Warrior of Shadow, casting Darkness is an action. For the Warrior of Elements, you can do Environmental Burst, which is a magic action. All of those things are cool, but if you could just punch someone to death, you're going to do that instead.
I don't know. I mean, if you can cast Darkness, and then that's a guaranteed, if you have Blind Sight, I guess, Blind Sight built in.
You automatically have Blind Sight in the new Warrior of Shadow.
So then, you're getting Darkness. 3. So then you get 3 attacks that are with advantage already. You don't have to try and push them down.
Yeah, you have a different way to get.
Or you can do 5 attacks and have one of them potentially knock them down. Well, that's only for open hand, though.
Yeah, only for open hand.
So that's the thing. Like, that's sort of the trade-off. Like, you can guarantee that your next 3 are automatic advantage, or you can try to push them and hope that your next 4 are. So,
Yeah.
I see it as an interesting use of resources. But yeah,
I love the idea of making Flurry of Blows scale like that, and I think it used to previously too. Like that's an old 3.5 or 3 holdover, isn't it? Or like a 4th edition even. Like
I don't
Flurry
remember.
of Blows had multiple attacks scaling.
Unfortunately, I don't remember Monk that well.
Yeah.
From where?
From like 3
From
or
4?
from 4, like the Flurry of Blows, I think it incremented, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So like you would get more attacks with your Flurry of Blows. That is typical Monk. But I'm just worried that it's going to make it where your Monk gameplay after level 10 is just, well, how do I add dice to each attack now? And that's the only thing that you care about anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like in Baldur's Gate.
Just like in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
All right, load myself up with all the magic items that make me hit more. Boom, boom. Hey, let's get
increase your range.
and Thief. 2 flurries a turn.
I feel like it's D&D is sort of becoming a race to the bottom of damage. It's like this class was too weak compared to the rest, so we have to do something, and maybe they get close, maybe they go a little too far, and then everybody else they kind of rescale to be like, yeah, we figured out you're dealing too much damage, but here's a fun way to deal that damage. And they're sort of like, it's okay, here we can damage this way, oh, we can do damage this way, and it sort of just becomes a game about damaging things.
Yeah.
And I mean, those kind of that's what you kill, but is that all the game is? Like, really, is that all we're doing now? Is we're just trying to find the best way to kill the creatures?
Yes.
I mean, in D&D, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're not totally role playing, pretending to be your character and stuff. Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting, just because what you're saying about D&D is what a lot of people. That's why they just go to a different system, because it feels like you can't even RP because all these options are here, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. I disagree with that, but I do agree that it is more damage focused than most.
There's an ugly little word that people use for the level 7 or level 9 features that you get for any class basically in D&D, and they are called your ribbon feature. And the reason they're called that is because they don't have any combat efficacy. They are mostly just there to do pretty cool things.
Running across water.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Role-playing game. Role-playing game.
Yeah. Yeah.
With dice, you roll them. That's when you kill the creature.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely agree with you, Philip, that it's more focused on damage, and it is a race.
Yeah. And it gets the optimizers have something to do, and it's fine.
Sure. There's a right answer, and it feels good.
Yeah.
When you have the right answer. Yeah. And that's why you will just use Flurry of Blows.
Yeah.
Right? It's the right answer.
It's such a right answer that me, the not optimizer, will sit there and go, I literally have to talk myself down from this ledge of just doing this every round because it is so good.
I'm gonna challenge you there. You're not a not optimizer. You're an optimizer, and then you go, I shouldn't do it. That's different.
Like, hey, listen, Cauldron, stop talking at me in the kettle, okay?
Fine.
Self-optimizer.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It's not weird. Don't make it sound so weird.
It's perfectly healthy. Yeah, twice a day I self-optimize. It's probably fine.
Speaking of self, the next one.
Yeah, we have self.
Would you say that? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, would you say that twice a day habit makes you restored, or
self-restoration?
I gotta go.
Gotta go optimize yourself.
Not on the leave.
Yeah.
Why is the door closed?
Fine.
Why is the door closed?
Because we're not done yet. Through sheer force of will, you can remove one of the following conditions from yourself at the end of each of your turns: charm, frightened, or poison.
Awkwardness.
Yeah.
You can't remove that. That lingers. In addition, foregoing food and drink doesn't give you levels of exhaustion. That last little bit, you can ignore it. It will never come up.
Ever.
I have no faith that the the Dungeons and Dragons design team is ever going to make exhaustion make difference. It's just so niche. But the nice thing about this is it doesn't call on you to use an action to do it anymore, which was always very goofy because it was like, if you are charmed or frightened, you can remove that condition with like an action, I think it was. And it was like, cool guys, the charmed condition makes me use my action for something else. So when am I going to be able to do this?
Yeah. I cannot pick that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's better than what it was, and that's what most of us wanted out of it. I think a lot of people are like, this is Bard Song, and I don't care for it.
Are you talking about Counter Charm?
Yeah, Counter Charm.
Or are you talking about... Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Hit advantage, maybe.
I've done it once, and I regretted it.
It's a straight Bard feature. It's not even one of the goofy, like, subclass Bard features. I don't...
Yeah.
Bards are funny, man. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It also added in the poison condition because, of course, you don't have immunity to poison anymore, which you used to.
Yep. Gone is Diamond Soul or Diamond Body or whatever it was.
It is changed. It is up a little higher as Disciplined Survivor. But Deflect Energy, now you can use your Deflect Attacks feature against any type of damage that comes from an attack on you. Worth noting, it has to be an attack, which means it has to be an attack roll, which means not spells that have saving throws.
Yeah.
So.
But it does mean magical weapons now, too. That was an oversight before. And that means you're better than a barbarian. I think barbarians might get this eventually. But that means, you got a magical weapon that does fire damage. Don't care. I can deflect that, too.
Yeah. Just someone swinging down with their flaming sword that is made of flame itself, and you just go... Turn it on you.
Yeah.
Quit hitting yourself.
Exactly.
God. Disciplined Survivors, the level 14. This is Diamond Soul. This is your physical and mental discipline grant you proficiency in all saving throws. Now, something interesting. This covers death saving throws.
It does.
Ooh, interesting.
Additionally, whenever you make a saving throw and fail, you can spend a discipline point to re-roll it and take the second result. So,
including death saving throws.
Including death saving throws. So,
although I guess that would probably be the only place where have to take the second result could be worse.
It's true. Yeah, you're right.
You could get a 1 and take two losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to.
It is a little dangerous.
Yeah. Because everything else, if you failed, it doesn't matter if you failed with a 1 or a 7, right?
Yeah.
Just be a long death monk, then you have advantage anyway.
Yeah.
We get into some of the sillier stuff here. Level 15, perfect discipline.
Yeah.
When you roll initiative and have 3 or fewer, thankfully it's not 0 anymore. You regain up to 4. So if you're below 4 at level 15, first off, your DM's a dick. Second off, you can get like a solid 2 turns worth of key points. Just load that away.
It's literally a giant, it's a horrible if. It's like, okay, we're starting combat. Do I have any discipline points? No. Have I already used metabolism, the 3rd level thing? Yeah. Have we not taken the short rest in a long time? Yes, we have not. Okay, finally, do I have below 3 or fewer? Yes. Hey, I could finally use this thing. I don't like this ability.
I don't like it, but I also like that you're never at 0 starting initiative.
It's true. It's true. It's good. It's that extra safety net,
And again, 4 is the exact number you need for 2 rounds of a full 5 attacks with one stunning strike if you crit.
Yep.
Yep. Is what it is. Superior defense is to level 18. Start your turn. Spend 3 discipline points. Perfectly bolster yourself against harm for 1 minute. During that time, you're resistant to all damage except force. You're a barbarian now. Congratulations. And the good barbarian, too. Not the crappy ones.
and it supercharges deflect energy because you only have to roll higher than the resisted damage.
So
right? So, no, you hit me for 10. I got to roll a d10. Well, no, you hit me for 5, and I got to roll a d10.
Oh no,
so,
you hit me for 10. My monk level is higher than that. Come here.
Yeah, exactly. It's super armor.
Yeah.
Basically.
Not only that, it is reflective armor.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
Level 20 is body and mind, which is basically just the barbarian level 20 for wisdom and dex, which is I don't really care about level 20s typically, but God, it is an insane thing to look at and be like, well, you get a +4 to your armor at least because your dex and wisdom go up by 2 each. You're probably going to be dealing way more damage, and then also have a ridiculous saving throw for your stunning strike.
Yep. Just supercharges, yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. But you're level 20, so I mean the wizard's casting wish.
If you're not killing gods, what you doing?
Yeah.
I will say that the new 20s are starting to feel really cool.
Yeah.
They're going back to, and honestly, I don't know, because I liked that level 20s were nothing to really sniff at before, because it meant that you didn't have that mentality of, but I have to make it to 20.
I gotta make it.
I'm gonna get the level. I'm gonna get conditional. I'm gonna get percentile strength as a fighter. I gotta get.
Oh, percentile strength. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's 20. Nobody gets there. Let's be honest. Nobody's gonna get there.
Perhaps the most damning thing that Baldur's Gate 3 ever did was say the game only goes to level 12, and when everybody asked, they just kind of looked and they're like, you know why.
You have never played higher than that. Don't lie to me. That's basically what they said. And also that they didn't want to do those spells.
You know damn well the game isn't actually balanced for level 7 spells. Fuck you.
Anyone who's played there, anyone who's DM'd at that level knows what's happening and knows why they didn't make it.
They had to make a game with code that makes sense. They can't add a level 7 spell in, not even one.
Yeah, no, like it would not be Game of the Year. There's no way people would get towards the end and be like, I hate this now. It's either way too hard or way too easy. I made a mistake.
One enemy casts a level 7 spell, you're just like, oh, fuck me. We have one subclass recapitulation of the Warrior of the Hand.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it a little bit so far. Basically, going down the design notes, open hand technique now has addle option to prevent the creatures from making opportunity attacks. It doesn't require a saving throw, which is good.
Just happened.
Because it never did. And it's only taking away the reaction, which is something a cantrip can do. So
yeah,
you would hope that spending a key point gives you at least that.
Yeah.
Wholeness of body now allows you to regain hit points without expending discipline points, which is nice. It's got its own set of charges. It's kind of like Second Winds.
Yeah, it's a lot like Second Wind.
Fleet Step completely breaks the world, and Great Palm is actually fun now. I think.
Is it because it's like slightly more force damage instead of necrotic, or?
No, it's because the way they changed the wording.
Okay. I guess I missed that.
The original
to me, I thought it was the same.
Palm is you gain the ability to set up lethal vibration in someone's body. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 3 discipline points to start these vibrations, which last for a number of days equal to your monk level. Vibrations are harmless unless you use your action to end them.
Mm-hmm.
To do so, you and the target must be on the same plane of existence. When you use this action, the target must make a Constitution saving throw, taking damage, etc., etc. The new verbiage here is the vibrations are harmless unless you use your action to end them. Alternatively, when you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of the attacks with this action.
You're not throwing away the whole action. You're basically throwing away half of the action because you're going to do 2 attacks. Now you only have to spend half to trigger it. And then you still have Flurry of Blows.
Yeah.
You skipped over Fleet Step so quick.
I don't like it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Ah.
You don't like our new Sonic Monk Overlords?
Okay,
So
go ahead. I have to change
okay,
to my
Fleet
other
Step.
headset anyway.
So Quivering Palm, that's what it did. It works as it used to, but now you just throw away one attack instead of your whole attack action. But Fleet Step, when you take a bonus action other than Step of the Wind, you can also use Step.
You know, the one that's going to be crazy at that level, because your monk unarmed movement at this point is... let's see, what level are we at for this? 11? It's not plus 30 yet. 11 is only 20. Mm-hmm. The only reason this isn't completely broken is because it doesn't say for free anymore. Yeah. Yeah, the way that it worked in the previous playtest was you can use Step of the Wind option for your martial discipline feature without spending any discipline points. This is now, whenever you take a bonus action at all, you can just also dash. And if you spend a key point, you can be a crazy person. Like a crazy go woo person. Woo! Mm-hmm. You juggle them 15 feet into the air. You grab your friend. You jump with your friend, double jump movement, all the way up above the enemy. You quivering palm them as you're going through and end it with your other part of your action, and then you drop your barbarian friend on top of them, Tager style, to finish it. It's there. It's very fun, but it's very dumb. Yeah. Yeah. Boy. It's it's not even broken. It's just goofy is the problem. God, that's what it is. Yeah. That's true. You do. But the thing about Quivering Palms is if you don't mind just throwing disciplined dollars hand over fist at your enemy, you hit them like 3 times plus 10d12 per turn. It's a way to give us something back for making it not just instantly kill the enemy. Handily. And for 4 discipline points, it's cheaper. Also, it's half on success, which Disintegrate is save or suck. So that is the new monk. It's more than I thought we were gonna get. Certainly. Something to note: weapon mastery completely cut from the monk class. They finally just stopped trying. You get weird things on your flurries. Deal with it. Just toppling with their staff constantly. Yeah, I mean, they just had to take away that battle res, and then they were able to pump the DPS, right, Charles? Yeah. Oh! No! Come back! How did you do that? You shouldn't be able to summon a familiar to shatter the dimensions. I feel like it's got it, but it's a whole ass class without even taking subclass into account at this point.
It is.
Which is funny because monk subclasses, by and large, are some of the strongest subclasses.
Mm-hmm.
The whole monk class itself is typically saved by the subclasses having fun things to do, which is why everybody shits on Way of 4 Elements so hard.
Yeah.
Because it was a garbage subclass in a class that desperately needed a good subclass.
Mm.
So we got all that out of the way with the monk.
Done.
There's still 2 things to talk about. The druid and the barbarian.
Yeah, but they have much shorter change lists.
Mm-hmm.
The barbarian, I feel like we can get through that pretty quick.
Oh yeah, seriously.
It's
except for Brutal Strike. Brutal Strike is the coolest thing that they have done to barbarian literally ever.
Well, go ahead.
Sure. Well, we'll go through their design notes. I'll do Rage first. So just like Monk, right, they're looking at, you're expending your resource, Rage, for barbarians. Now you get 1 more expended Rage when you finish a short rest. So they used to be, only long rest?
Only
yeah.
long rest, yeah.
So now you at least get 1 back when you short rest. That's cool. Do you need more? I think you still... No, you don't. Because you can keep Rage going as a bonus action now. That was a change from before.
Yeah,
so you can keep it just going.
It's a 10-minute thing, I think.
Yeah, so Brutal Strike replaces Brutal Critical, which was awesome. Also, that was a good ability. But this is Cunning Strike for barbarians, which is why it's called Brutal Strike. They're not... I mean, they're original, but they're not that original. This is exactly the same. But Brutal Strike, when you use... Reckless attack. So when you go, you can have advantage against hitting me. I will have advantage against hitting you. To everybody, basically. You can forego advantage on 1 of the attack rolls you make on your turn, right? Actually, you can do more than 1, but the next one. If it hits, it does an extra d10 damage of the same type dealt by the weapon or unarmed strike, whatever. And you can cause 1 effect of your choice. So it's instead of Brutal Critical, which was cool when it happened, which is rarely because you crit. Now,
5% of the time.
Yeah, 5% of the time. Because there's no, I haven't seen Keen, but there's not very many things like that. But yeah, so you hit them, they take a little bit extra damage, and then you can pick to either push them 15 feet straight away from you. They thought they were really smart with that wording, too, because they didn't want people to be pushed straight up.
There is this whole fucking Dante Devil May Cry juggler community and the D&D community that I do not for the life of me understand, who are just like, just keep popping them up and make them take a D6 as they fall. It's like, guys, come on.
Yeah.
Just a
Not
little
for
bit
the
of insult to
memes,
injury.
not for the DPS.
But I would just say that straight away from you still it's still a little bit unclear because people will be like, yeah, it's straight, it's diagonal. Let's not do this. They mean like a straight line.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But then you can move up to half your speed towards them without provoking opportunity attacks. So you can push them 15 feet and then move with them.
Even better, you can get out of a crowd if you need to.
Yeah, that too. To me, I think a lot of people are going to use this to kind of be almost the Baldur's Gate barbarian, to just throw people. I just want to do it so I can push them.
Yeah.
All I have to do is hit. There's no save against this. You just get pushed if you got hit.
Oh, does this do the thing too? It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does the forceful blast for Warlock. There is no qualifier.
Nope.
So,
And theoretically, if you were to already start in combat with them, you could do it twice.
Yeah.
Because it's level 9, you've already got 2 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you could do it
30
twice.
feet and move your 30 feet with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And the other option you have at this level, at level 9, is Hamstring Blow, which reduces their speed by 15 until the start of your next turn. It's cool for the kind of maneuvering. Yeah, I mean, you could push them away and hamstring them. I don't think that I would use it on that, but you could. Or you could just hamstring them and keep them close to you, right? If you're the more tanky bard.
They're trying to get
tanky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make it tanking barbarian.
Yeah. But like at 13, both of these get better. And it's going to get better again. But at 13, Staggering Blow, you also have this option. It basically, if you hit them, you get the extra D10, but also the target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes. Period. I mean, it's a comma, but still, period. And it can't make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. So it turns off their opportunity attacks, and they have disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes, which doesn't have to be you.
A lot of worth noting that a lot of these are turning off opportunity attacks now rather than taking away reactions.
Yes, because you have more.
Good.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that's really cool. That was probably not what you would have used it for. You would rather it take the reaction away so it doesn't shield or whatever the heck.
Shield,
but,
counterspelled, parry, etc.
Mm-hmm. But the second option, so that one's great because you can give disadvantage to the next saving throw. Your barbarian can set up your bard, your wizard, your whoever is, doing saver side. Right. Hey, thanks. Now I can disintegrate better. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does. And then the second option, you're just I staggered them so hard that they're easier to disintegrate because it works on Constitution saving throws. Right, works on anything. The next saving throw that it makes to hold concentration. Is that a saving throw? Yep, saving throw. Right. The other one that you get is Sundering Blow. So you hit, you choose this, you deal an extra D10, and also the next attack roll made by another creature gains a bonus to the roll equal to your rage damage. So it's easier for them to be hit.
That's really cool.
And it's until the start of your next turn. So you give them, what is this, level 13? 13.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At that point in time, you have +3 rage damage, so they have +3 to hit, basically.
Is it still only 3 at that point? No. Oh, yeah, it is. Wow.
Yeah, rage damage doesn't grow very quickly.
That's fair. It's basically free. It's free real estate. They give you.
It is free real estate, yeah. But if that's not all, because that's just level 13. At level 17, any of those options that you pick, the extra damage that you do went from 1d10 to 2d10. Hey, that's great. Cool, more damage. In addition, you can use 2 of those options each time you use this feature. So you can stagger and sunder, or stagger and forceful, or, hamstring and push them away.
Gosh,
right?
It's like that thing we wanted for Fighter.
Yeah, right. But like you put that together and you've got some fun things. And one of the things about Sundering Blow, and I think they did this for this reason, is that the next attack roll made by another creature against the target, you don't get that bonus to hit another person does. So you couldn't spend it.
I do have a question about this overall feature because I hadn't thought to ask it before, but this says if you use reckless attacks, you can forego your advantage on the next attack roll.
Yes.
So that means after you've used it, you get once. So this is basically
weird
way of saying once per turn.
Yeah. It's a very weird one.
So I think you can do it twice.
Yeah, maybe.
If you use reckless attack, you can forego your next attack. So you would
advantage on your next attack roll, which would make me believe that it's one usage per reckless attack. And it has to be the first attack you make. At least the way they've got it worded so far.
Yeah, it's at least noodly there.
Yeah.
Because reckless attack itself says when you make the first attack roll on your turn. So that's why there's only one. It's like you gotta, if you put both of them together, reckless attack is no longer the whole turn. It's one attack on your turn. So since there's only one attack with advantage, there's only one that you can forgo.
So at level 10, if you use reckless attack, only your first strike is reckless attack. Your second strike is just a regular swing.
Yeah, starting from level 2. Even at level 2, what it says is when you make your first attack roll on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on attack rolls using strength until the start of your next turn. So when you make your first one, you can decide to attack recklessly. And then you have that advantage. Go ahead.
Right. So if at level 5, when you have 2 attacks, both of those attacks can be reckless attacks.
Yeah.
Which means
I see what you're saying.
So then at level 9, you can forego advantage on the next attack roll, which would next just being your first one. It's just the one you make next. You would make a brutal strike. For first strike is brutal strike. Then you get your second attack. You would forego the advantage on the next roll.
It depends on the way that they say if you use it. Does it mean if you hit with it, or if you just say I am going to use it?
Yeah. Well, because
if you declare
advantage, so. But it makes it sound like the minute you use reckless, you have to choose right there, or after that first strike on your second one. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they could clean that up.
They should,
because it could be argued either way.
A turn.
Yeah, it could be argued either way. I don't know. I would love for it to be more than once a turn, because I just want to use these options twice.
Because it gives you back great weapon fighting.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Great weapon master.
Yeah. But all of that to say, Brutal Strike is really interesting, like a half maneuvers, but you don't have to spend anything other than potentially being hit, but you're a barbarian. Who cares? Whatever.
Back in the day, when I was first playing D&D, they gave us power attack, and we could do that as any class, and you could just kind of, choose your math. This feels like a very convoluted way of slowly starting to give it to all the classes.
Yeah,
fair. But at least there's some utility options in there so that we're not just racing damage, right?
At least it's every turn the barbarian has the ability to go goofy and try to hit harder.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for a crit for it to do something, it is you can decide to not roll 2 dice, and instead, when you hit, you lay it on thick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and knowing you're fighting a weaker enemy or a easier to hit enemy, you can deal more damage.
Yeah. So the last, at least of the design notes, was persistent rage, I believe, because was it persistent? Yeah.
All uses once per long.
Yeah, you get all of your usage back. If you when you roll initiative, you can regain all expended uses of your rage. So this is the metabolism thing from Monk.
Yeah, it's level 15 too, which is not where it used to be for Monk.
Yeah, you can only do that once a long rest. And the only other thing is, rage ends early if you have unconscious, not incapacitated.
Which is nice, because you can be incapacitated by some weird stuff.
Very easy, yeah. So unconscious is, I literally became unconscious. which is harder to do with a barbarian anyway.
It's harder to make the barbarian unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
They have that whole thing where they get back up.
Yep. So
some interesting, good updates for barbarian. I think I'm guessing they got some feedback on the fact that brutal critical is kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I like it personally, but
sure,
I understand that it's not an active feature, and
mm-hmm.
this is.
Yeah, it feels better to think about it, right?
It's sort of like with the fighter when they got like, oh, you can crit on a 19.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, so now I crit twice as often, whereas the barbarian, when they crit, we're critting for twice as much damage. So it's sort of like, well, we'll give it to you the same way, just we've worded it differently.
Yeah, hope you don't have shit luck because you'll never see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got a subclass out of nowhere. No, it was an update.
No,
I just didn't remember seeing. Yeah, I just didn't remember caring about it at first. Because I was like, World Tree? Was that there before?
I don't remember
I
it.
didn't even know. I didn't even remember.
I remember it.
World
but
Tree,
it's...
never heard of it.
Yeah, what is that?
It's basically it's a barbarian subclass that is a controller. It does a lot of the same sort of noodly stuff that one version of Warlock did with tentacles, but it does it with tree roots instead.
Woo.
Better or worse?
Better.
I'm gonna go worse because I mean the tree roots are woody. You know, the tentacles are at least gonna be fleshy. Notice I didn't ask what it would be better or worse at.
Worse. Yeah. No, basically there were just a lot of feedback playtest feedback that I saw for this was vitality of the tree could provide temporary hit points to your allies but not yourself. Now you're able to do it to yourself as well. And the range for giving temporary hit points increased because it starts at like 10 feet. So you're like a battlefield controller for this, but you really have to have them in your locus to be able to do anything with it. Branches of the tree now activates at the start of a creature's turn instead of at the end.
Yeah.
And the range is increased to 30 because, again, being more usable in a combat situation. And choose to reduce the speed of a teleported creature to 0 is nice as an add, I guess.
Sure.
Because the other thing is, like, what it would do is it would teleport a creature, basically moving them along the roots of the world tree is the flavor that it was giving. But they could still move.
You teleport, then their turn comes up, and they just walk right back to you.
Yeah. Or you try to pulse an enemy into you, and then they just walk away. And you're like, but...
Opportunity attack, at least?
Yeah, at the very least, you'd get that. And then the only other thing they changed was travel along the tree, which is the self-teleportation one.
Misty Step thing. 60 feet, not 30.
Yeah. You can teleport up to 60 feet. And I think you can...
Is that the one where you can take your friends?
Yes. 6 willing creatures. And that was increased.
You have your friends? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, 500 feet is nice.
Crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, no, wait, they brought this shit back. This is just that psionic bullshit.
It sounds cute.
It's very cool, I think. There's nothing... I don't see any real issue with this. I think it's great that the barbarian can be like, all right, on me. And then you're just fucking there. That's cool.
It's like it costs you 1 rage, which is a resource. And theoretically, you're not in combat, so you can't keep it going.
Theoretically,
you're just you're burning it just to teleport your friends away.
See, that assumption is the problem, and let me tell you why. Because I remember running for a home game of mine where one of my players was playing the Nomad Spec Psionic UA. And let me tell you, nothing worse than a person having 5 charges of "fuck you, I don't want to fight." Where they just go, "Oh wow, there's like a whole army here. 500 feet's pretty far. Peace." Thump.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, but no, you have to. I drop my rage. Do it again. Bye. I can keep
Later.
doing this. How fast do they move? 60 feet max around? I'm already gone.
Yeah, not even a monk could catch you.
No. Well, certain monks could still catch you.
500 feet.
Yep,
It would be
we have
pretty
made
hard.
that monk, Charles. You remember
It's true.
You use haste, you use the
It's
boots, you use the dash,
yeah.
you use the...
But they would have to use everything.
Yeah, you have to be prepped.
What I like this more as is kind of a weird fastball special, but in reverse. Because it's like, now follow me on this one. We're going to go back to monk. The monk can take the barbarian with him as far as they want. And then the barbarian can then take the monk with them the rest of the way, no matter how far it is. And then you've got a barbarian and monk flanking, which doesn't really matter anymore, because you can choose within 10 feet of where you went.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, all of a sudden, barbarian and monk are right next to you. And it's probably not fun.
You know what? For as much as I hate the thing that I said, the inverse of it, I love, which is the idea of just like SEAL Team 6ing directly on top of the enemies and just taking them all out.
Yeah, it's a Persona. It's an all-in attack from Persona. Like, you just all hop in and beat them up.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, it's got a whole lot of utility, too. I mean, like, rescuing people, which, okay, I know I'm not going to talk about the 14 D&D all the time, but rescue is in it. I repeat, you can rescue in the tabletop game. That's not okay. That's not okay. That is not okay.
Yeah.
He can literally just pull someone.
Come here.
Oh, no.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's going to be a bad idea.
It's gonna
but fun.
Fine.
Unless you roll a 1 and then you get sent to them.
That would be hilarious.
House rule.
Yeah.
Roll a 20 when you do the sage jump. I have seen troll comps on that, and it is absolutely hilarious to see someone grabbing someone that they just, I don't know, have a problem with that day and swapping places with them as the AoE goes off.
Yeah, this is also like the ultimate barbarian monk is the ultimate get down, Mr. President, because the monk takes them to the barbarian just goes bye. Like, okay, that's cool too. I don't know. I just like that it's such utility.
Yeah.
This does no damage. It's great.
And that's the thing is like it is the most controlliest barbarian, so that means that it is not the damage barbarian. If you want the damage barbarian, go play with the frenzy one. He has a great time with it. This is the one that heals its friends and makes sure that everybody's battle positioned right, which as someone who has played a wildfire druid before, let me tell you, battle position swapping is quite possibly the most maddening way to fuck with your DM.
Sure, yeah.
Because it's not exactly malicious, but it absolutely is fuckery. All I did was move them 10 feet from where you had them set, and they were surrounded by enemies.
Yeah.
Took a bonus action. Druid had almost no changes to the class itself.
Yeah, just about zero.
It's wild shape stuff, but
really,
yeah, really.
I feel like that's kind of a pretty big.
It is.
Okay, you're saying that the only thing they're really changing is wild shape, but not that there's a lot of them. But because I was thinking the wild shape change is pretty big.
It is big.
Yeah, that's fair. The wild shape allows the druids no more beast forms. It gives temporary hit points to druid, and the beast form no longer retains the druid species traits, which is kind of I'm kind of saddened by, because it was nice to get dark vision on all those animals.
Yeah, it was nice to get dark vision, resistance to charm, and things like that. Or immunity or advantage against charm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, those are nice, but
it feels like an overcorrection, really, because initially it's kind of overpowered, but to take it all away is also kind of bitchy.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
They're trying to massage what they do with wild shape. Every single playtest has been
every time
dramatically different. This is the first time that they're seeming like they're honing in on something. The thing about it is they want it to be easier for play. And I understand that. but people get in their heads, I am a druid, which means I get to turn into this animal, and this animal. And usually it's not even a mechanical thing. It's just, I have a player who just likes to turn into a little Arctic fox because they're cute. They don't even use it in combat. They just kind of cuddle up with somebody while they're traveling on the road.
Yeah, you have those druids, and then you have the druids who are menaces.
Somebody I know.
Yes, it is.
Then there's the menace druid who's like, hey, guess what? When I'm in wild shape, I just have extra HP, and I'm going to be using it, you know? And I'm going to get the one with the grab. I'm going to get multi-attack. You know what I mean?
You get the shepherd druids who are like, I use conjure animals, and I summon 20 rats. By the way, they all have 20 HP. And they hit magically, and they deal my wisdom modifier in damage.
Yeah.
They find that one creature that exists in one place in the world, and they want to turn into that thing because it can do these really cool things.
And you want to let them do it. You really want to let them do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's cool. Whatever.
No good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it would suck to do that. So, I don't know. I guess to kind of bring the ceiling and the floor closer together, they just decided, okay, look, here's what we got. We gotta fit this, we gotta fit this in this box that is, it's not too hard to understand and it's not too easy to manipulate. So this is what we get, and it's kind of meh.
Meanwhile, we have a disparity between monstrosity and beast, and the whole reason behind that disparity between the two is that they have to be god-awfully careful of what CR rating they put on beasts in the game, because polymorph exists and because moon druids exist.
Yeah.
So if they allow a beast to slip through that is as strong as, say, a T-Rex, then everyone's going to turn into T-Rexes because they're very strong and cool.
Yes. I see it as that they're trying to make, I think, they're trying to make the animal shape, wild shape, changing into a utility ability. Like, I'm going to turn into a spider, and then I'm going to use web, or I'm going to use the wall crawl as a utilitarian type thing. I'm not going to go get into combat. I'm not going to go run in and try and poison and do something to the enemy, because I'm only getting 2 to 5, 6, temporary HP for this change. I can't afford to take any hits. So it's like, I'm going to do this one thing, go back to being a regular druid, casting my spells, hitting with shillelagh or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever druids do.
Yeah, whatever druids do.
Yeah, shillelagh, the best druid spell.
And then keep going as something new comes up. It's like, oh, I can wild shape and do something. Do that thing, and then turn back. And so instead of it like every druid is like, well, I mean, I might as well turn into a bear, use that however many extra HP I have, go maul them a couple times. Maul them a couple times. I lose all of that in temporary. I turn back, and okay, now I cast my spells again.
Yeah.
It was like it was unoptimal not to, use that wild shape, have free health, a free tank, no consequences. And now I think, unless you are specifically being the moon druid, where they get like 3 times your level rather than just your level.
Which I don't even think they do anymore. I think that the last playtest of the moon druid was very different, wasn't it?
No, Circle of the Moon.
Yeah, it changed in...
It got more moony and less woo-y.
Yes. Yeah.
So
and that's in this playtest.
Yeah, so you can cast spells while in wild shape. And...
yeah, it gives you a few of them.
Oh, they
Circle
changed
forms
it back. Sorry,
temporary.
I was remembering the last playtest.
Yes, they changed it again,
Okay.
Yeah, so your challenge rating goes up, the armor class goes up, and the number of hit templates is equal to 3 times your level rather than just your level.
Gotcha.
To standardize, not... yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, so circle druids are still, or Circle of the Moon, sorry. Circle of the Moon is still, you want to shapeshift and do those things. Like, you don't care about being a druid, you care about being a wolf or a bear.
Yeah.
But you don't have, pardon me.
The one thing I thought was weird is that they added, you get more wild shapes, because from what I knew about it beforehand, as you were getting up in levels, at that point you were just like turning into the animal and then taking a nap because you had it for 5 hours. Just sleep as a bear and then proceed about your day. You'll probably get into a fight within the first 4 hours, and it's a free wild shape that you've already used.
I do believe. No, it's still the same as it ever was. It's stay in the form for a number of hours equal to half your druid level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you
that's
could.
What it was.
So you could turn into a bear, take a short rest. You would remain a bear for that entire time, and then go do stuff, having all of your wild shapes available to you while you're in wild shape form. So the fact that you have 4 wild shapes at that point seems unnecessary.
Yeah. True.
Like you're just.
I think it's that whole ceiling and floor thing, because the players who are going to do that are the optimizers, and the people who aren't might just not be good enough to be the baseline, druid that they want. Maybe that's it. Coming from a class that there was a skill ceiling and there was a skill floor, and then the room, if we follow this metaphor, imploded. Yeah. They just crashed into each other, and nobody knows where either of them are anymore. In another game, I think that's really what it is, because druid players could be menaces if they knew what they were doing. If they didn't, they just scratched their ass.
Yeah. No.
That's it.
The conjure spells tends to be when druids become absolute
it's true
gremlins, but this playtest kind of talks to that.
Yeah.
In what way? I was asking in what way.
Oh,
yeah.
Because
I mean, we
I've
may
never
as well
played
go
as
there.
a conjuring type druid before, so that's what I was asking.
So, the conjure animals, conjure fae, and conjure, basically all the conjure spells have been rewritten.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's not the druid class; it's the spells. I gotcha.
Yeah, but of course the spells are mostly druidic. Like conjure animals is druid ranger, and then you have conjure fae, which is just druid, and you have conjure woodland beings, which is druid ranger again, which is hilarious because a ranger using their level 5 slot on conjure woodland beings. Why? I mean, they would do it. It would be optimal, but god damn it, ranger, why? So basically, I can sum up a lot of this, because what it does is it basically makes a hazard effect kind of like a moonbeam, but all of them have different little things about them. Like the conjure fae has the ability to spoop something every turn, and deal 3d12. The conjure celestial is just enormous. Conjure animals is now like it's a 10-foot cube swarm that whenever anything moves within 10 feet of it, so like within a 20-foot circle,
okay,
you can make a radiant weapon attack or melee spell attack against that creature. So it's basically like spirit guardians on crack that you can move independent of yourself.
Okay.
It's Shino from Naruto. You have your bug column, and when it gets close, you can do special attacks with them, or if they walk through it can do special attacks with them. It's literally Shino, now that I think about it.
That's really cool.
And also I think it does count as difficult terrain as well.
Yeah, true. It slows you down. Some of them do. Minor Elementals does.
Well, that one's just a radius on you again. Minor Elementals is actually, I'm super excited because it's Spirit Shroud for her. It is a wizard allowed version of Spirit Shroud that's one level lower but scales better.
Sure. And yeah, it can do, whatever, not whatever damage you want it to do, but bludgeoning, cold fire, or lightning, which is nice. But yeah, they basically turn them into, I conjure a spirit guardian field, and things happen when you're in it or near to it.
That's
which is cool.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, and it's
the crunchiness of it.
Exactly right. You don't have to think about that other creature and move it around and You go, how much HP does it have? It has a 50% chance to get hit because it's a swarm, and then I have to think about, no, I'm not doing that.
It's got a real nice action economy.
Yeah, definitely, because it's concentration.
It is concentration.
So you cast it and then turn into a bear.
Yeah, and the best part is it doesn't even take your bonus action.
Nope.
You can move it. You move it passively, and it doesn't take any type of action to use its attack.
Yeah, there's only a few of them. Yeah. So that's great. I think it's a good change, but yeah, min-maxers, optimizers, it's not as good because it isn't a group of things that I can directly control or,
and so
get the right Fae,
Yeah, the other thing to remember is this literally eliminates a whole subclass of Druid.
Yes,
the
that's
Circle
true.
of the Shepherd has no purpose anymore if you cannot summon animals.
Interesting.
Although I forget whether or not it got its own animals just gratis. I think it might have.
I don't remember. The tell would be if we look at Druid and it says it's not one of them that you can use. Or that would be updated. Because they're basically going, yeah, don't use that. Whereas Druid subclass, Shepherd is not in there.
All right.
Circle of land, moon, sea, stars. Yeah,
sea was
that's
that
it.
Newer one that was pretty fun.
Yeah. But yeah, Shepherd is not allowed.
Yeah, I'm guessing because
yeah,
it was always a
they
weird
broke
one
it
anyway because I think it was like based off hit dice how much extra
yeah, I think so.
health the things got, which didn't convert correctly to a lot of creatures anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't convert to the summon creatures at all. So the reason they did this is because there are two types of spell. One is the Tasha's Cauldron of everything summon spells, which are like summon fiend, summon fae, etc. And it summons one big boy that helps you out, and it actually has a pretty fun stat block.
Mm-hmm.
But then there were all the conjure spells, which just summon swarms of shit. And it is, I was just watching the Dimension 20 show, and Erika Ishii with her character summons, I think it was 8 CR1/4 raptors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flavoring them as geese, and they proceed to tear the shit out of the boss monster because because Erika was playing a Circle of Shepherd.
So they all get bonuses, the thing.
You get a bunch of CR14 stuff. You use your bear totem for them so that they all get a bunch of temporary hit points. And then because you're high enough level, they deal extra magical damage based off you being a shepherd, and also they get bolstered other things. It's so many extra little things added in. And Brennan literally had to tell her, okay, I'm going to move on in the initiative now. Please let me know when you're done rolling 16 attacks at advantage.
Yeah. The good old 32 D20. Yep.
Yeah.
It's good. I think that this is kind of flavorful and cool. I don't know. I know some people are going to be upset.
What do you think? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you go ahead.
What do you think of the idea that you only have known forms, almost like spells?
Oh, sure.
You get to know a certain number of forms, and once you've seen a spider, but you chose bear, wolf, and bird, so now you can't turn into a spider.
You can change
until the next time you level.
Can't you? Change me each time you level.
I would house rule that if it's not true, because I think that just makes sense.
Even then,
at the very least.
I feel like it should be more like cleric, where you could set some for the day.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that would make sense.
More often is good, especially if you know you're going to a place where,
right?
Maybe we're gonna need to climb through a mouse hole or something.
Yeah, and as a wisdom-based class, I think that makes a lot of sense for druids to be like, oh, I know the terrain we're going to. I will be a snake, eagle, and a whatever, Yeah. I think that would be cool.
It's 2+ half your druid level rounded up, and then once you finish a long rest, you can replace one form with another.
Yeah, so you can change it up on long rest. I was gonna say you can. You can move stuff around. It's just
Cool.
I think the idea was that they wanted you to be very intentional rather than very deliberating when it came to beast shapes, because there are druids who are like optimizers who are like, okay, out of the 20 shapes I can choose, what is the most optimal one? And they're going to sit there digging through the book. And they're going to be like, I think I remember
comparing
this thing.
stat block.
Yeah, the game is just like, okay, look, pick 5, please.
Mhm.
And then choose a motley crew of 5 animals. Go from there. And that's just for people's sanity at the table. That's not a real restriction. Like, I don't see Jeremy Crawford if someone's like, but what if I right now want to change into a goose just so bad, but I didn't pick it for my daily one? I'm sure you'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Be a goose.
Yeah, be a goose.
As long as
do
you
crime.
know that you want to do it right now and you have the block in front of you. I think that's the intent, is not just
stop the choice paralysis.
And it's the same thing with like conjure woodland beings or conjure animals. It was, all right, go find the stat block in the DMG or in the monster manual, and then pay attention and track 8 things.
Yeah.
And that was usually the DM's job, and that's no fun. I can tell you from experience.
Yeah, and people who would be like, "Oh, I want to be this creature or that creature," and it's like, when have you ever seen one of those? That's a really weird. You've seen snow tigers and you live in the forest? What? Yeah.
See.
Well, I want to be a snow tiger because they have a better tripping attack.
Shut up! I want to be a crab. Leave me alone.
Oh, they also got rid of the swim speed.
Yes, they did. That's right.
They also got rid of the tiny restriction that they had.
Yeah, so you can be a crab at level 1 or level 2 now, when before you couldn't. Yep. Crabs can swim.
Yep.
Cool.
Because let's be honest, why was that ever a restriction?
I don't know.
What campaign did they think that was going to come up and be bad?
Yeah.
Maybe it used to be like swimming was a challenge in dungeons at a certain level, and then after a certain point, everybody just got either strong enough or fit enough that it no longer became a story challenge. And so if a druid could just swim, everybody else was like, man, I have to deal with these water traps. And the druid's like, F you guys, I'm out. And then it got to a point where people don't care anymore. So they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you can. That's the only thing I can think of. It's a holdover from something older in dungeons.
I mean,
a more antagonistic way to play.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just one of those funny things where it's like someone was, or you know what? No, it's probably one of those very targeted specific things they found in internal or in next level playtesting that they were like, we have to do this because otherwise it gets bonkers.
That one person ruined it.
That the druid, they summon water sphere and then they jump into it as a shark and then they ride it at a guy.
I mean, because it's concentration. Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe water creatures used to have a higher or a lower CR for what they were. So a shark is more dangerous than a bull, even at challenge rating 1/4 or something.
I think it was they were just really going out of their way to just restrict the movement speed stuff that you can do.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
But again, that feels like something the druid should be able to fuck with, you know?
Exactly, that's what they're for.
Turn into fish.
That's exactly what they're for.
Yeah.
You know, turn into whatever.
And if I had a game like that, I would house rule like, oh, you want to be a fish at this level? Okay, you just aren't swimming well.
We basically did that already with the Greek game. Tiki
Mm-hmm.
should have been able to be a crab then, but also fuck that.
Yeah. It's dumb. Doesn't really give you anything in this moment. I think that sure.
But you had so much fun being a crab.
Yeah. I think it's up to the DM at that point, you know.
It wasn't like it was even a good tactical choice. She just liked being a crab.
Yeah.
It's fun.
She just picked a giant crab. It was within the CR rating. It just could technically swim.
First, she was just a normal crab.
Yeah. So we got Conjure. The next big change, because it's still in spells, is that did you like healing? It's doubled.
I'll put some healing in your
That's
healing
it, that's
so
the
you
note.
heal while you heal.
Cure wounds instead of 1d8 is 2d8. It improves by 2d8 at higher levels. Healing word was 1d4. Now it's 2d4.
The
It improves
scaling
by, yeah.
is actually the thing that I find the most nuts, because
Yeah.
there have been previous versions where it starts at
crazy.
2 and scales by 1, but starting at 2 and scaling by 2 is actually big. It's still not going to outdo damage. But
No.
now it's going to not just be for heal when they're at 0.
Yeah, and even if it was, they'll stay up for another turn, so you don't have to do it next turn.
Yeah.
Castus. I'm kidding. I love using healing word, and then they get up and then fall right back down.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they might not.
Take away their action.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to be honest, I think that's about the most ingenious thing that Baldur's Gate 3 did, is like, oh, you're just going to zombie your players? They lose their action when you do that. It's like, okay, I guess I'll heal. Yeah,
I'll keep them from going down. But yeah, Mass Cure Wounds is 5d8 instead of 3d8. Mass Healing Word is 2d4 instead of 1d4. Like, they just went
That's really cool.
More healing. And yeah, I think it's great. It makes healing, each instance of healing, more impactful, because nobody really wants to do it. I mean, some people might, but traditionally most people don't want to just heal, especially in D&D. Yeah. That's not the tradition of D&D. That's the tradition of some MMOs, not all. I don't know. Nobody ever wants to pick the healer, and when you're a cleric, you're trying anything to not have to heal, because you have so much cooler shit to do.
Yeah, especially in 5e. It's like, I have all my damage spells.
Mm-hmm. And even as a bard, I don't want to use Healing Word as a bonus action. I got a Bardic Inspiration someone, which then unlocks another thing for me, you know? I'm not doing that.
I would also like to point out that Mass Cure Wounds is an actual decent spell now.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty good.
It used to be like 3d8 as a level 5 spell. It is now 5d8 as a level 5 spell. So it gives you a d8 per level for up to 6 people. So that
makes sense to me.
That's an actual good healing spell.
Yeah. Other spell, Fount of Moonlight. So this is a level 4 spell. And the reason that I want to talk about this one, this is like, it's not like Tensor's Transformation, but it kind of is. So only for Bard and Druid. You cast it on yourself. Last concentration up to 10 minutes. You're wreathed in a light, emitting bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for another 20 feet. So you're very bright. Mm-hmm. Until the spell ends, you have resistance to radiant damage. Okay, cool. And your melee attacks deal an extra 2d6 radiant damage on hit. Ooh.
Okay.
So you have a tiny little holy weapon.
Yeah, so you have a little holy weapon that's 2d6. In addition, immediately after you take damage, you can use your reaction to pocket sand them. Or, I guess, in game terms.
They smack you and you shine.
Yeah, you shine bright, and they have to make a Constitution saving throw. If they fail, they're blinded until the end of your next turn.
Your next turn. Ooh.
Yes, your next turn. It's a very interesting spell for a swashbuckling bard, a more up-close druid, because you do this and then turn into the monster, and then all of your crap is an extra 2d6 radiant.
Yeah, Sword Bard, this is great for that.
Oh, yes.
Although,
Sword Bard's eaten.
I just noticed it is a level 4 evocation.
It is a level 4 spell, so.
Not to hit, what, level 7?
Yeah. So it is kind of high up there. That's the only problem here. You would need to use it for a number of rounds, right? Because one extra 2d6, not worth it. Not worth it at all.
And it's your reaction, so you only can blind one creature, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you're getting hit, that means you're making a save of your own. You might just lose concentration.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun idea. I think it's a little underpowered considering how much they've hyped up everything else.
Sure. I really believe, like, if they just tweak it, this is fun, thematic, and Bard having it is very funny. Like, is it a spotlight for you? Because that's what I would say. And it's not just a shaft of moonlight, it's a spotlight. I'm a bard. Fuck that.
I can just see, like, you cast it in the last action, like, there's the somatic parts is just like you, like, strike a pose.
Yeah, it just goes off.
You just see like,
So we're still in spells. The only other there's 2 more, and then I think we're done with basically everything, right?
We basically chewed through this.
Yeah, pretty quick. So power word fortify. I love power word spells. They're usually useless, but I love them. So power word fortify, level 7. It better be fucking good. Bard cleric.
Game breaking.
Yeah, range 60 feet. So you speak a word of power that fortifies up to 6 creatures you can see within range. It bestows 120 temporary hit points divided equally among them.
So 20 if there are 6.
Yeah, 20 if there's 6. Or, whatever subdivision that you want to do. 7th level spell.
I can see that being kind of cool as like a, you know the enemy is about to do something big. And so you give everybody, or maybe just give your frontliner, you and your frontliners each get 40.
This is deployment tactics on high crit low in 14, which a lot of people won't understand what that means, but that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like I put out the barrier right now to mitigate. It's cool.
It's not bad.
It's level 7 though. Ow.
I'm trying to find. There is a. What's Hero's Feast?
Oh, Hero's Feast is like the one where you.
Oh no! I know.
You do it after a long rest, or
it's from a long rest, and it gives you a set of temporary HP, which is worse than this, but it also gives you like a few other things. It's a level 6.
Yeah.
It takes 10 minutes to cast. This is an action.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs an automatic 1,000 GP to do this one. And
yes,
you get 2d10 maximum hit points.
Okay, that's useful.
But it does like creature cured of all disease, becomes immune to poison and frighten, makes all wisdom saves with advantage. So it has a bunch of other things. But this, for the bard who does not have heal, or does not think that heal is enough, just being like, are we all low? Everybody plus 20. Yeah. Just flat plus 20.
That's for you. Enjoy.
That's good. Or if... the thing to remember is, it doesn't have to be that. You don't have to split it. You just say, that NPC that we're guarding has 120 more hit points now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not concentration.
Oh, it's not. Well, it's a power roll. Yeah,
it's a power roll. It just happens. It's instantaneous. That's it. It just happens.
I think this is underrated. I think this is good, actually.
It can be. I think so. It's just 7 is so high up there.
It really is.
I don't know what you're giving up. Like, I'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm so like heal. I think 7 might have. Dang it! I keep taking this out. Put it back. What were we saying, Philip?
Etherealness, Finger of Death.
Okay.
Finger of Death is level 7 necromancy. Plane Shift.
Okay.
Mordenkainen's Sword. Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion. Prismatic Spray.
Okay, so that's
Gravity.
a bard. I think that's not a cleric spell. I don't believe. I don't think it's a bard spell either. Maybe it might be, but yeah.
No, I think these are all wizard. I think technically wizard levels, but Conjure Celestial.
Yeah, that's pretty useful for cleric for sure now.
Force Cage.
Force Cage is level 7. That locks down an enemy for the entire fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can see it being very useful.
Yeah.
Just don't put it on someone who also gets temporary hit points, because those overwrite, and they had 120 and now they have 4.
No, it doesn't work that way. It takes the highest.
Yeah, I know.
God, I've heard people who actually think that, and I'm like, no, please don't ever, no. Don't
do that. It just doesn't stack. That's all it says. Yeah, it just doesn't stack.
Yeah, I think the action that it takes to give you so much HP is something to be like, well, that's not much. It's like, it is to just have that exist on the combat.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We're done with magic. Mm-hmm. Question: did you guys notice the slight word? Maybe it was like this before, but I'm just noticing it. The slight difference in wordage to ability score improvements.
Are you talking about how it's 22 is the maximum?
Yeah, so you can't. So with your ability score improvements, you can't go above 20. However, when you're level 19, if you use your last ability score improvement, you can take it to 22.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, at 19. So if you're already rocking a 20 from something, at 19 you can then break it to 22. And then if you're some classes like the fighter or the barbarian, you hit 20 and it boosts it another 4.
Which is why the barbarian and the monk both have that rider saying you can increase +4 up to a maximum of 26, not 24 any longer. Because it's letting in that 22.
Yeah. So I didn't know if that had been something they've already done before, but I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, 19, like when are you going to see 19? But at least it's like I would imagine that several classes by the time you hit this one, you're like, I don't need it. I'm going to take a feat because I can't. Nothing that I want
can go
get past 20.
Yeah. It gives you that, okay, I have the choice instead of being like, well, there's only one answer. Take a feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's a good idea. It's once again that percentile strength as you're getting up to the top.
Yeah.
But it's for everybody.
And it seems like they've kind of stepped away from, or maybe they're just not in this playtest, the epic boons.
Yeah, right.
I think they've taken a step back from those, which is why they're just increasing it, saying you can just go above 20 now. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's only one other thing. There was like a cantrip for Bard and Druid that does damage.
That light mode?
Starry Wisp. Yeah. Starry Wisp. Yeah, you throw something, it's a ranged spell attack, it does 1d8, and it starts to glow, and it can't be invisible.
That's a cantrip? That's actually really great.
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, let me read it fully. You launch a mode of light at one creature or object, make a ranged spell attack against the target. If it hits, it takes 1d8 radiant damage, and until the end of your next turn, it emits dim light in a 10-foot radius and cannot benefit from the invisible condition.
Oh, that's fucking sick.
That's cool, and it grows like a cantrip.
And
so,
better, it's a bard cantrip that actually does some damage, which they needed something with teeth.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to mention it.
You don't feel like bard cantrips do damage?
No, hold on. I'm gonna go vicious.
They do emotional damage.
Vicious mockery someone for 2d4.
It's emotional damage. It counts.
Yeah, but
okay.
It's emotional damage on yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I was forced to use a cantrip. Shit. It's basically what it feels like. Damn it. How could I have avoided this?
2 damage. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, you only use it for the disadvantage, and that's really it. And it's really a Hail Mary. It's like, please, don't hit my friend. If this matters, if this actually matters, something has gone horribly wrong, and I'm just a bard. Like, if you don't have a better action to do, wow. Yeah. But this is also cool because you can hit an object. I don't want to destroy it. I just want to hit it and make light. That's cool.
Something that can take a little bit of damage. You can hit it on something like throw the object.
Yeah. It's a weird, interesting ranged light spell, so you don't have to cast light on a coin and throw it, because we're all smart and we do that.
So what if you just hit a wall? Like, just if there's a wall 60 feet away from you, just launch it at the wall. The whole wall glows. 10-foot light.
Nope. Target one creature or object, so you can't target a wall.
Because it's
objects?
Walls don't count as objects; they count as terrain.
Yeah, because it's not one discrete thing. Now, I would rule that like a broken wall that's not attached to anything is just an object. It's just a pillar. It's just a whatever the heck, I think that would be fine. But it also would be hilarious, so I would let you do it anyway.
I mean, I would definitely rule that that's like a lantern effect.
Have a lantern at the very least.
Now, basically.
Yeah. And it's until the end of your next turn, so you can benefit from it if you were not able to see. Yeah. Which is cool. So.
Scar in the chat actually had a question.
Yeah.
Do you think
Scar.
that Scar?
Mhm.
Yar.
Yar.
Do you think that the combination of ASIs and feats from 5th edition staying in Next is a good design choice? You mean Next because D&D Next was the codename for 5e.
What are we, a link list?
So James, rather than answering the question, you're like, actually.
Listen, I have to be me. I can't be anybody else.
I
Except for
love
me with a lot of prosthesis and skin.
Sure. I love feats. I am a feat stan. Yeah, that's fine. I said it. You finally know. I finally admit it. I love feats. I love all feats of all shapes and sizes, except for toughness, or whatever it's called in this one. Because why are you going to take just extra HP? Stop.
Listen,
you're not going to do that.
+2 HP. That's basically like having your con score go +4.
Does it give you
anything else?
If it gave you 1 Constitution and then the HP, I'd be fine. And if it does, I'm not going to read it because it's a stupid feat. But anyway, like it could have been changed to that, but I'm not going to read it. I love feats. Now the feat or the ASI, I don't know. I wish.
I think what
dearly
Scar's
wish.
asking is 3-ed when they were not conjoined at the hip. And you had them as separate builds.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I miss it, sure.
I think it's not as necessary in 5e because of the flat math.
And I think that's why they did it. But I love feats that give you 1 ability point too. Like the ones that are like, do this and get 1 to this or that. I love those. And I kind of wish all of them did that. Either you get 2 or 1 in a thing. I love that.
That seems to be their answer now.
Yeah.
Is that they're just making everything a half feat, essentially.
Yeah. And
so I agree one way or the other because the half feat is basically exactly like what 3 was. Because even back in 3, your modifier only went on +2s, but you only got +1 every, how many levels was it, 4?
I think so. Yeah, and then...
Well, it depends on the class. Because
it depends on the
got
class.
them
Fighters
more
got
often, right?
feats that were extra. They did not get extra ability score improvements.
No, ability score improvements were locked in and feats were sliding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Funnily enough.
I got them switched.
Oh, so yeah, it's all good.
I do believe that it was ability score feat. But
I don't know. I
think so.
Having them separate, I kind of liked that in that you could build your character in a very specific way. Whereas, because there wasn't like subclass as much, so you could be like, I want to do this with my fighter. I want to sort of do these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And now it's just sort of like, well, I want to hit harder, so I have to up my strength.
Yeah,
right?
It's true.
Like the feat might give me a +1, and I get to do Great Weapon Master or something. But
yeah, I think there are too many bad choices for feats, and it makes it feel worse when you pick it. Right? It makes it feel even worse when you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna make something go up by 2. I'm gonna pick this feat, which can be very situational, but when it works, it's more benefit than the ability score.
Yeah.
And that's a little. I think that is my problem with it. It's also why I usually play variant human, so I get an extra feat.
But like Piercer from Michelle you seem to like that one for your ranger because you can re-roll your damage dice.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Use it. You often use it multiple times in a combat, so it seems like it's a big benefit rather than having just 1 more point of damage.
I mean, it's there. Why not use it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
Well, because you could have just done something that would have given you 1 more point of damage every time.
Yeah, theoretically.
No, I agree. I think you picked the right choice.
Yeah. It feels weird to have to choose. And I do miss 3rd when you didn't have to choose and you had so many feats and you got all of your ability points and you feats. So I do wish it was the 3.5 way, but I know that they're not going to do that. I mean, feats barely held on. They were an optional rule until until now, until this playtest.
You can
it's still optional.
Pick a feat or just get some stats.
Yeah.
Take a feat.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Stinky feats.
At least they're not purely optional anymore.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully they've actually they've admitted to themselves that it's, and I think they always had this. It was just the whole point of original 5e was dumb it down as much as possible so that everybody can get in.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of having like an 0.5 or an AD&D iteration to things is usually, all right, the game's gotten more complicated. We acknowledge this, and this is for the book for the people who want the more complicated version.
Yeah. Where are my splat books? I want them. If we're talking about 3.5, bring me them back.
I'm sure somebody has the Ultimate Fighter somewhere.
Oh, I mean, I have the quintessential monk. Because in that one
version, I'm sure it exists.
Oh, sure, yeah. Third party is a thing I don't usually use. I wouldn't. If a player brought it to me, I'd be like, yeah, use it, but I don't usually look at it. There's so much of it too.
Yeah, I mean there is. Like there are so many that was another thing that I was upset that they moved away from the whole having the level progression be different, because I thought that the progressions that they chose that were new were better.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see it from the point of view of there are so many splat books and such and third party things for the players of 5e that if you say all of that stuff is now invalid, it would be so
Harsh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be rough for people. Almost as rough as like trying to impose really weird, like you have to pay us percentages bullshit on companies that are using open license things.
It's a good thing that no one was ever stupid enough to do that.
Insane. I can't imagine a company that would try to do such a thing.
Wait, isn't that what happened? Isn't that what happened?
They became, listen, everybody wins.
Yeah. I don't know.
But also the money people got shut up for a second, which everybody does win in that instance.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
I was
Very true.
Talk about chat, rude.
Oh no! He was saying the money people got shut up for a second.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard shut up for a second, Michelle.
Yeah.
Damn.
No. We're gonna say to the chat though.
I mean, Scar's still asking questions and stuff.
Oh yeah. What's the question?
I'll just read it. Bounded accuracy and hard caps on ability scores definitely changed it up a bit. It's just a feels bad moment when you hit level 4 and it's like, oh cool, I can hit things +1 better. Or you can get character defining features like great weapon master. That's why you picked variant human. You get it at level 1. You don't have to.
I hate picking variant human. I don't want to be the person who plays D&D and picks human. But my brain works in a very specific way. Monkey see feet, monkey neuron activate. I want them.
Where's it?
You can clip it. I don't care. There you go. Add that on.
No, but I definitely agree. It's one of those things where it was like it was even worse than that in 3. Because in 3 it wasn't that you get a +1 at the end if you're level 4. It was you get the chance to be +1 later.
Yeah. You got one little token and you need 2. Once you put them together, you get what you want.
Here's one of your 2 shiny quarters. Still can't make that quarter music yet. You gotta have another one.
And there were just so many more feats in general and fighters and their ability to have so freaking many.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I think fighters got a feat on every level. It was just that every other, that's what it was. You get a feat every 2 levels in 3, but fighters got a feat at level 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. And then everybody else got their feats on 2, 4, 6, which is why fighters were so able to dive down those giant trees.
And they needed to.
Because that was their only thing, right? Yeah. Wasn't that the only abilities that they got other than like multi-attack or something?
Yeah, they got more
extra abilities to do feats, and your base attack bonus was disgusting. It was the best one. Yeah,
and since it grew and base attack bonus is how you got your extra attacks, it growing faster meant you got bonus attacks faster.
That's right.
But yeah,
once you hit 6 or something, right?
In the fray that 3 was also the version of the game where you didn't get multi-attack unless you stood still, which is why opportunity attacks were such a thing back then.
And why fighters took spring attack after the 5 feats that you had to take to get it.
Yeah.
So
it was fun to look at all those trees, though, especially for fighters.
Yeah.
That was the thing about fighters. Fighter was the most meticulously planned out of all of the classes. Because for
Funnily enough.
casters, you just pick spells. For fighters, you're like, all right, which feat tree do I want to go down? It was like playing Path of Exile.
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah, you know what? It's true.
I remember when I first played 3.5, I was like, well, I'll be a fighter because that seems easier than trying to learn all these spells.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a shield lob fighter? Do you want to be jumpy stabby fighter? Do you want to be super power attack fighter? What kind of fighter are you on?
I ended up, I think, the throw anything fighter.
Yeah,
That's what I ended up going towards.
Yeah,
Throw
that's a fun
anything fighter.
Yeah.
You just pick up random heavy shit and chuck it at people.
Yeah, it was like an improvised weapon throwing tree that you could build into after. Well, you need to have combat expertise. You better have at least 13 in intelligence.
Yeah, it's that Moon Knight panel. Random bullshit, go. Literally.
Yeah.
Hey, look, a
Pick up a
statue.
chain.
Throw.
Yeah.
We're just hurling boulders at people.
I prefer what we have now with the bounded accuracy and not having it be as painful a Sophie's choice.
Yeah, I agree. Those picking those abilities just made it so customizable, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I picked Variant Fighter, because I want to be customizable. You know, I want that extra thing. And also, usually I pick the one feat, or at least a feat, that gives me a +1. So I lose a little bit less. I don't even lose anything. I get a little bit more, because humans already get a +2 to 1 thing, if I remember correctly. Can't remember. But then you get a +1 and half a feat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to get level 1 feats now anyway, so you don't have to be a human to pick something.
You don't have to do that. Thank goodness.
So that's one part of the playtest that I have not seen enough feedback on, was the new way that they're doing feats and backgrounds and everything, because it looks really good, but I mean, it doesn't look like they've changed it, but it's also we're so deep into classes and everything, we're forgetting that characters just start off stronger now.
Yeah, that is very true.
I don't know.
I think we did it.
I think we did.
I think so.
I think that's a whole ass UA8. Overall, I give this UA 5 punches around because I can't do anything else.
Were you holding on to that one, or did you just do that? Did you just think of it?
So 5 out of 5
attacks.
That's
good.
No,
I like
it. I like this UA. I think that they've finally seen fit to nerf or change some spells.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been daring them to do this entire time. Seeing the counterspell change, seeing the healing changes is nice, and seeing them take away some of the worse for table spells is also very nice. So, and replacing them with things that I'm actually interested in having, especially as a druid, because concentration spells.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Looks fun.
The only thing that I can say is I will definitely pour one out for the Astral Fist Monk. So cool. Not included.
Oh, yeah, they've actually said what they're going to put in the book, haven't they?
Yeah. Yep. And it's not that one. We read the list. It was Mercy and Shadow and whatever and whatever.
Yeah, it's going to be Mercy. That's right. Oh,
yep.
Astral Fist in the arms of an angel.
Literally.
Flying off your back.
Well, I guess it's with the arms of an angel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is a shame, especially with because they would stand to benefit the most from the level 20.
Oh, God, yeah. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's why they don't exist.
We are at about 3 hours. I think we talked very successfully about all of these things. Anybody else have any final closing feelings about this playtest and what we talked about today?
I cannot think of anything.
Cool.
Monk, good.
Monk, good.
Monk good.
Mhm.
Monk, good.
Wow, you said monk good?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's got a lot of potential.
Oh.
Got a lot of potential. There's some stuff like we talked about, but way better than it's ever been. I want to say right now, better than it's ever been in any edition almost.
Better than it ever was.
Yeah, like I like the 4th edition Monk, but it was not okay
No.
in any way, shape, or
Then
form.
they broke it anyway. They were like, "Oh, we fucked up. We can take all that
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Get out of here."
Yeah,
Didn't you just have to like stop playing because you were too far advanced? for the rest of your party?
Charles broke encounters, so he jumped off a building.
No more context. That's true. That is 100% true. It is true. That's what happened. And I came back as a wizard who had no offensive capabilities.
True, also.
From one extreme to the other.
Yep.
Is that the one where you were like afraid of germs?
Yep.
Yeah, he was German
And so,
wizard.
So always cast prestidigitation or fastidiousness, which I missed that spell. Yep. Yep.
Well,
Good old times.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Just he had that weird like Teflon layer over him, like whenever something would splash on him, and just go.
Yep.
Slide right off onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Until magic didn't work, and then he
and
freaked
then
out.
Slowly went mad.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, good times. We should play more games.
Yeah.
When's the next
That's
game
true.
going to be on this channel, Michelle?
Oh my god, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
And by tomorrow, I mean today.
That's true. Is that
Right,
gonna
For
be
large values
Yep,
of
yep.
today.
Splinters of Fist?
Splinters of Fist.
Mhm.
In what, 21 hours from now?
Probably gonna kill some more gnolls.
Yep. That's very true.
Then on
We hope.
Saturday, we're also doing the thing, Diablo. It's
That
probably
one.
gonna be starting a little bit late, and James won't be here again.
I'll be driving back from having dinner with my friend, Michelle. And Philip.
Bye.
So,
That's true.
can't be
Have
there.
a fancy dinner.
I'll be listening in, and maybe I'll type in the chat. I won't. I'll be driving.
Well, I mean, get home and then you can jump in. Nope. That's a long drive.
I mean, you guys tend to play pretty fucking late. That might be actually doable.
I feel like the time, depending on when the dinner is over and when we start, the amount of time it takes to get from here to there is the amount of time it takes to play a Diablo game.
Yeah.
Fair.
Unless it goes that 5-hour long session,
Yeah.
that happens sometimes.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
Call a doctor.
So, I'm James, that's Charles, that's Michelle, that's Philip. We are +1 shot, and this is +1 shoot the shit. Please join us next time for when we talk about I hope we get a bigger part of maybe the MCDM stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, we can talk
you
about
still promised me a dissertation.
Sure. Yeah. About how your sheet is your character for RP. Basically, just using your sheet to RP.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that you can't do it. We just talked about it. Think that it's harder to do in D&D. It's not. You just have to look at the mechanics and RP it, which is fun to do.
Yep.
Or at least I'll try and convince people that it is.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll be there to also listen and talk maybe a little.
Yeah. And then at some point, this is where I'm going to do the real deep dive into the 14 game.
Oh, yes.
Because I haven't watched the whole 8-hour prototype run that they did of it that they didn't tell anybody about. It was just on Japanese Twitch, and they played it for 8 hours and had character sheets that I've mostly translated. So yeah, look forward to that. Please look forward to it.
I look forward to that tomorrow. Day after.
Tomorrow.
No, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, I'm not. No, there's normies on that podcast. I'm not going to go super crazy in depth. there. Also, because I probably want to get out of there within like 2.5 hours to 3.
Well,
I don't think I want to go any further than that.
I look forward to extra noodles in my order.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what this channel's for. We delve into it there, and then we really talk about it here.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call it for us now. Thank you, everybody, for coming and watching us. If I remembered how to actually throw us to another channel, I would do that. I'm not going to today, but I will next time. Love you all. Love you all. And we'll do this again real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye.